The Earth is very flat.
What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. This is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. Welcome to the show. Hopefully the sound is good out there. I'm getting some kind of weird readings on the mic here. Maybe we got a problem. I don't know. Hello, hello, hello. Huh. I don't know. Sounds good, huh? Okay. All right. Must just be a weird glitch. Thank you very much, Bill. Appreciate that. What's going on, guys? We've got Gadget Inspector, Ian Adams, Bill G, Anders Ace, PJ Krushank, Mr. Gadget, Brandon Cook, Unicorn Laser Eyes, and The Plain Truth, page 42, Nick. And Bill G was first. He says, nope. Nope. I need that on, I need a sound clip of that. Silent thumbs up. What's that mean, Ian? You're hearing me fine. Good. All right. Good to hear. All right, folks, I think we're going to talk a little bit more about the sun today. I've got an interesting article that was forwarded to me by a listener. And where is that? I'll tell you what it's about. Uniformitarianism. I have no idea what that is. But the brief look I took at it, it seemed kind of interesting, related to science and philosophy. Thought we'd take a look at that. Brian's Logic put out an interesting video on eclipses last night. For those of you who caught it, kind of raised some questions with me, and a couple of the observations that he made in that video made me think. Be interesting to discuss that. I really haven't looked into eclipses a lot. I don't know why, but they don't interest me that much. But it's an interesting subject nonetheless. And then we'll see what else happens. Anyway, let's go into Discord and see what's going on.
They traded one for the other, so they were able to trade off various parts of it, you know, and then extrapolate it. And that's why they had to make the sun a certain distance from the Earth, and the Earth's rotation elliptical, which they claim is all these brilliant theories of Kepler and all that. But in reality, it's just a complete reverse engineering. It's like kind of like tit for tat, you know, just like trade one for the other.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? We are live.
So I was looking at the what we were talking about last night about the sun, with the seeing the sunset longer, or seeing the sunrise sooner and the sunset longer. Right? So
Ute says I said quiet. Let me see if I can fix that.
they say you see it about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it does seem like
You see the sun 2 minutes before it's actually there
hello.
in the morning. And then you see it 2 minutes after it's already disappeared when in this evening in the sunset. So that's only accounting for when the sun is at actual geometrical, like
Sound
the
check,
halfway point.
Sound check.
I don't know. Anyways, if you're on the equator during an equinox, two people antipodal should see 8 extra minutes. You would have 24 hours and 8 minutes, I guess, of sun. That's what they should both see combined if you added it up. So,
What's up, guys? We're live. How's it going?
How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, Brandon?
Good. What's up, Gio?
Did anybody see my chicken video with my chickens and my fruits and veggies and all that bullshit?
No, but we will bring that up. We got the real Bob Dole, autodidactic, Brian Leakey, Effie Self-Evidently, Pace One, Farming Ganja, Effie Walker, Geo Jeremy, Phoenix Rising 86, and Rob on the level Keen. Hope everybody's having a good day. And I heard you guys talking about the sun, which is on the agenda for today. I seem to be having some microphone issues, though.
Maybe
not.
Maybe.
Can I ask one
maybe we
question
were
for
talking
you
about
before? Because I know we'll talk about the sun for weeks. Can I ask one question though? Just to see if anybody agrees with me. I did a short video on on the Starlink satellites. Okay, whatever the hell they are. Okay, they're up there, and there's a whole the curvature at 700 miles. It's supposed to wind up being like 1,000 miles long, but right now I think it's
Sorry about that. I restarted it, hopefully, to get my microphone working again. It looks like it might have done something, but I don't know what the hell's going on.
across the sky, and there's a dead ass straight line. Okay, in 700 miles, there's about 60 miles. I mean, yeah, 700 miles from beginning to end. There's about a 60-mile drop. That's about one little less than 1/5 of the altitude that they're even at, and they're in a dead straight line. Would y'all think shouldn't that 700 miles stretch, shouldn't it reflect the Earth's curvature if they're supposed to be the same elevation? Shouldn't there be an arc in that 700-mile string of satellites? Should it be a straight ass line traveling across the sky? Because that's what we observe.
You know,
If
that
you're
is a
looking at
really
an
good
arc-
question, and I saw your video and I thought about that. And I was like, well, yeah, if it's how long of is it 700 miles?
Yeah,
you can make an
just
arc
just short of
You'd see
700
an
miles.
arc. If something is an arc over 700 miles, you'd think you'd notice that it's curved, but
depending on the angle you're looking at it from. Like the horizon looks straight, but we know we're seeing in a circle and it's arced. So
yeah, but you're
Hey,
looking at
just real
something
quick,
up
Brandon.
in the sky here, right?
Brandon, you're real
I mean,
low on
directly-
YouTube.
Don't be in a circle.
Sounds good on my end.
sure we do.
On YouTube, he's lower for me. That's why I jumped in here.
Is it really low?
What do you mean we don't see in a circle? What do you see in a square?
Oh, on YouTube, yeah. Travis said you're low on YouTube, man, and yeah.
Sound
Is
check.
my
sound
mic
check,
low?
Sound check.
Point. We have a focal point, not a focal circle.
Huh? A focal point.
I still haven't got an explanation for that.
Hey, I just changed the settings on the microphone. Let me know if that's better. I think that I'm seeing higher levels, so let me know. Probably too loud now, but we'll see. And shout out to Dan the Waterman, $5 super chat. How flat? It's flatter than that. Absolutely.
They haven't even fed me any horse shit, which I'm used to, you know. At least give me some horse shit. They ain't even offered up nothing.
You didn't get any responses to that video, huh? Nobody said, oh, this is
I got
live.
plenty of responses about, you know, just troll bullshit about different subjects and other shit. You know how they do. They talk about your kids and it's ridiculous, dude. You know, they respond about your children and your grandchildren. It's ridiculous. But no, I didn't get an actual response on why there's no arc in that 700-mile straight line, because it's damn near horizontal. It is traveling away a little bit, but it's pretty damn close to horizontal, you know.
You know what, Brian? You hit the nail on the head, because some of the replies from ballers that I see on these videos are so lame. You guys got to come up with some new shit. You can't just say, come in the chat and go, "Ugh, flirts are stupid." It's like, grow the fuck up, man. At least
Want to hear
come up with
something funny,
Wasn't that
Brandon?
going to be
This
one
is
of
hilarious.
our actual tests we did, Brandon, at one point? Was we were going to set a straight line up and then a curved line up and see how we saw it?
Yeah, right. They did it for us. This is funny, guys. Listen to this real quick, and I'll pass it over. Okay, so one of my buddies seen it, and he upvoted it, and they marked it as all it is I'm not even talking in the video. I'm just giving my opinion on, you know, shouldn't we see an arc or shit like that. Only the whole video that you see, there's no talking. It's just a little song in the background, and it's just Starlink. It's all it is Starlink, and they put it as a flat Earth video. I mean, they posted it as flat Earth content. That's why for the title I put SpaceX proves flat Earth. They put Starlink. They classified Starlink under flat Earth. Fucking idiots, man.
right? So I heard a little bit of you guys talking about the sun, and let me share my screen. I had a back and forth with a baller last night. Oh, by the way, I saw a bunch of you guys were talking until like this morning. I think I saw like 10 people in here this morning. Were you guys talking all night long or what? Last night?
Probably so, because there's a lot of people.
It went
still
for a
on
while
trial.
with
I mean,
a pretty
a
big
lot.
group, I think, maybe.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
if it gets to, usually if it gets to like 2, 3 a.m. my time, I'm in California time, Pacific. Usually like a bunch of people from like the UK and start popping in, because it's their morning. And so, yeah, sometimes there are people at late hours, early, late hours.
Yeah. Well, there's some nights where I look, an hour after the show and there's no one in the room. And the last night I was a little surprised because it was like 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, holy shit, there's still people in here. That's cool. Anyway, I'm sharing my screen with this updated diagram from yesterday. And I had a back and forth last night. I won't say with who. And they're like, no, I think it's the same on both models. I'm not exactly sure if he was referring to what you would see, or the fact that there would or wouldn't be a difference in the actual versus the apparent position of the sun. But I thought about this all night pretty much, and I am pretty damn confident, and I found some resources to back me up, that I'll just go through it one more time just to remind anybody that didn't hear yesterday's show. So supposedly the light from the sun takes 8 minutes to reach the earth, right? So that's our one assumption. We've got two models here: a static sun, a moving earth. So the earth is moving in this top one, and the bottom one is a moving sun with a stationary earth. And the question is, does this have any impact on whether or not the apparent position is the actual position of the sun? Now, in this earth moving model, I'll point something out here. This stream of light from the sun is static. It's always on. It's always blasting out. So when you move into the space where the light is shining, there's always a stream of light there to meet you. There is no 8-minute delay. So when you see the sun, if the earth is moving, you are seeing it always in its actual position. There's no difference between the apparent position and the actual position. Now think about this. You're here on the earth, let's say, before you come into this light stream. And then the earth moves and pulls you into the light. And you look up. The light that would hit you from the sun is already there to meet you. Yes, it's 8 minutes old, but it's always on. So you're always seeing the light coming from that direction. As you move through it, that light is always shining. You're always seeing the light shining from the sun in its static position. So the second
That's a good
you move
point,
into the
man.
light, you see its apparent and actual position are the same. The second you leave the light, the apparent and actual position of the sun are the same on a moving earth.
How could they argue that, man? How could they argue that?
Well,
On the globe, there would be two.
Go ahead.
On the globe, there would be two things causing an apparent position. One of them would be refraction. The other one's the 8-minute thing.
Yeah,
They could say the orbit. They could say the orbit's causing that. The Earth has to move into the. I don't know.
Well,
Look, I did a video this morning on sun angles, man.
That the difference in the apparent and the actual position are due to refraction. That is what most of the documentation out there says. This is just something that came up yesterday, and there was a disagreement. Bob and Effie Dogma seemed to think that there would be no difference. But let me get to the moving sun, stationary Earth. So in this one, the sun is moving over the Earth. We've gone with a flat Earth in these diagrams just to make it a little simpler, but it's the same concept for the most part. So the sun is moving.
Did you see my?
As it moves, it shines light down on the Earth. That light takes 8 minutes to reach the position. So as this sun goes by, it's already 8 minutes past by the time the light hits the position where you're at. So let's say you're standing right here inside this little triangular part by the Earth before the light gets to you. Once that light hits you, it's 8 minutes old, and the sun is 8 minutes further past. So the actual and the apparent position of the sun are never the same in a model where the Earth moves. So there is a difference between static and moving sources of energy and light. This would apply to gravitation. This would apply to any kind of field emanating from an object.
Yeah, man. The same thing with the solar, the rotation of Polaris. The guy did the little setup where he mounted it, and the only way it would work is if you were at the North Pole, or if you were pointed, and if you were looking and just dead at it from the side of the globe. If you couldn't get them concentric circles on the side of your photograph. He proved it. It's plain as day. They still argue it. I don't see how they can argue that. But real quick, I did just a practical test on sun angles. I'm not trying to change the subject, but it's related. But if you get a chance, I'm gonna post a video. It's a minute and 12 seconds. It's funny too, but on sun angles and how it doesn't make sense on a globe. And it's just a simple little test anybody can do on sun angles. And I don't see how they can argue that the sun ain't getting closer as it comes overhead. It's plain as day. It's common sense. I'm going to post it in general. If you want to, you can play it, but if not, I can describe it later. It's a short video.
Yeah. No, we'll bring that up. I just want to see if there's any feedback on this, if there's any disagreement, or you guys are on board with this. It's pretty simple. I don't think there's much contention. I don't know why Bob and Effie Dogma pushed back on it. No, you guys are good? Cool. The other thing that was brought up, I'm looking for the link you're posting. We'll bring that up in a minute, Brian. So in their model, in the heliocentric model, the apparent position and the actual position are different because of refraction. So they say that the sunlight, this would be the actual position right here at the horizon in this little diagram, but a sun would look higher. That's what they say causes it, and that would
Dude,
work.
you make points so good, dude. Yesterday, your point was, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting, but your point yesterday was what's different about our model? You know, it's a refracting sun. That was so strong and short. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. If this can cause this sun to move this much in their model, why wouldn't it happen in our model? You know, it doesn't make any sense. But they think we have to have some grand explanation when they give us this bullshit. Now, this happens on both sides. And Jeremy and I were messaging each other about this earlier. So on the one side, in the east, let's say sunrise in the east, right? Yeah, in the east, you've got the sun rising. You see it before it's actually above the horizon. When it's setting, you see it after it's under the horizon. Understand? That's what they say. Anyway.
Which chat box are you using, sir?
And they say nothing's reliable, man. Under 15 degrees, nothing's reliable. That's 30 degrees of our 180 degree view. I don't think they understand how much that is. They act like that's no big deal. Just 15 degrees above the horizon on each side of a 180 degree view. You know, no big deal. Just 1/6 of what we fucking see. Excuse me, language.
Right. So I was thinking about this, and Jeremy, I don't know if you've had a chance to think about this anymore, but during the equinox, it's supposed to be 12 hours of sunlight for in darkness, right? Each person at the equator. Is that right?
Yeah, on an equinox at the equator, you get 12 hours and 12 hours. But since they say we see it 2 minutes sooner and 2 minutes later, that's 4 minutes for each guy that's antipodal. You'd actually see it for 20. They should combine see it for 24 hours and 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. So let's say that the sun's coming around. Let's say it starts here. The real position is here. You see it already up here, right? So you're seeing it 2 minutes before it actually comes around the horizon. Does that mean the person on the other side, if they were exactly antipodal to you, would see it when it's down here? Yeah, I guess so, right?
I can answer that.
Not only that,
Answer
hold on.
that.
Hold on a second. Let me just bring up one more I don't know whose truck that is. Just one more thing. The sun would have to catch those 2 minutes up by the time it gets to high noon. So you got it moving at a different amount of degrees per hour throughout the day, every day, almost all the time.
Okay. So
And
wouldn't
that
this
simple,
create a
the simple answer
situation
would
where
be,
if you had two people antipodal, okay, so if I overlay these, like let's just pretend these are overlaid. So here's the sun would be at this position in the middle one right here, right? That's the actual position on both. This person would see the sun above the horizon, and the person antipodal to them would also see the sun above the horizon. So they'd see the sun in two different positions. So if you measured that from positions exactly opposite each other, you should be able to measure two different positions in their model. Does anybody know if that's ever
well,
been done?
you're trying to let them only have their cake, but you know they're going to eat it too. The simple answer would be the globe model, whatever reality is, the globe model predicts it. That's their answer for everything. That's
Yeah.
Fight the Flat Earth and McGoon. That's their answer to everything. The globe model predicts that. Whatever reality is, it's predicted. And that's their horse shit out for not having a response to questions like that.
I would assume that they would just say, if we can see the sun for a little bit longer after it's past the horizon due to refraction, the other person would have seen it a little bit earlier, basically. But your overlay looks good.
Yeah, no, I think they should both be able to see the sun at that point. They're on opposite sides. They should both see it above the horizon.
Absolutely.
I think the heavy hitter here is the sun catching up before, because when you're on the equator during an equinox and it's noon, that's the time where there's supposed to be no refraction and the sun's directly overhead. So if it starts off with this crazy refraction, by the time it gets to you, you're talking about more than 15 degrees an hour or so. It's going to be different. It's not going to be just 15 degrees an hour anymore, because now it's got to catch up.
Yeah, you should see some kind of, it has to make up for that lag, right? So the sun's here, you see it in these positions. As it moves, this one's going to get higher. You're going to see this lower. Yeah, I don't know. Something to think about there. I haven't really thought it through that much, but
I'm guessing they own it. I'm guessing they just admit that that's what it is, because it doesn't seem that like model breaking. I don't know.
no, I don't think it's model breaking. I just thought it was something I had.
Well, now they have
before.
this. Now they have the sun moving different than 15 degrees an hour. No, throughout the day, every day, it's constantly changing.
Well, they always say.
Oh
as it
yeah,
gets
dude.
near the
If you
horizon
look
that
at any of
it puffs up.
if you look at the sun traverse the sky, especially in the north pole circular videos or the 18-hour sun or 24-hour sun, and the camera's stationary, it passes center and falls back behind center, passes center. It's never perfect the way they claim. They're full of shit, man. They act like that was oh man. I'm just gonna listen. Y'all doing good because y'all are nailing it right on the head, man.
Yeah.
To me, it is a model killer, man.
Well, they now have to include in their model that the angular speed of the sun, or that's not the right word. I don't know, but it's not 15 degrees an hour anymore. It's changing throughout the day. They have to include that in their model now, because it has to make those 2 minutes up. Because they have an apparent position in the morning, but then at noon on the equator during an equinox, you have an actual position supposedly. So they have to make that up.
Yeah, it's only 2
Only
minutes.
2 minutes,
So
but
I know that they do admit as the sun nears the horizon that 15 degrees, but they don't say it's that much. 2 minutes. I don't know what that would equate to in degrees. I'm sure we could figure it out. 1/30th of 15 degrees. It's like a degree or two. But I mean, you're right. I'm just saying it's not that much according to them.
the point is the speed of the sun is changing throughout the day. I couldn't even get them to admit that it changes throughout the year, which they said, it does.
Should be a little less than half a degree, Brandon. If
Is it half a
dividing
degree?
15 by 30. Yeah. 0.4 or something.
Okay. All right. So that's all I wanted to talk about to start the show off. Just bring up those couple of things and see if it went anywhere. Actually, I did have one other thing that somebody sent me. Have you guys ever heard of something called Unitarianism? Or Uniformitarianism? No?
Talking about geology and how things change slow over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So uniformitarianism, also known as the doctrine of uniformity or the uniformitarian principle, is the assumption that the same natural laws and processes that operate in our present day scientific observations have always operated in the universe in the past and apply everywhere in the universe.
Everywhere.
Right. So the things we see happen on Earth is, rocks are hard. Here, rocks are hard everywhere. You know what I mean? That kind of thing,
Well,
I think is what they're saying.
if you're talking about like the laws of physics changing, they were different in the past or something, that's some kind of fallacy. I forget the name of it, but yeah, you can't go around just like saying that the laws of physics were different in the past or they will be in the future or something.
Yeah.
Special plating fallacy.
Oh, there we
Yeah, I
go.
thought you couldn't say they were the same or different. You can't plead to the past
Yeah, I
because
don't
nobody
know.
knows.
Says it refers to invariance in the metaphysical principles underpinning science, such as the constancy
It's like saying
of cause and effect throughout space-time.
Uniformitarianism simply means that things behave now like they always have.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's uniform, right? It's uniform.
Right. So if something is the cause of an effect in the past, it will be now and it will be in the future. Or it is now and will be in the future.
Right, which interestingly enough, actually nicely coincides with the video I just put out, which was my point in my video. A mirage here is a mirage there. What's true of the mirage here is going to be true of the mirage there, no matter how much you change the distance or the degree, so it's uniform.
That was an awesome demonstration, Travis. Hell, his ether bandiness, that was fucking shot out, man. That was a good one. That's one worth sitting through every minute of it twice.
Now, when you mean the mirage is the same here as it is anywhere, are you talking depending on your point of view, how far away you are from it, or?
No, when you think about the physics of the plane over which you're looking, however far you want to make that plane, if you've got, like in my video, I had a very intense inferior mirage at 1 mile, and you have an inferior mirage, so the elements of an inferior mirage at 1 mile are going to be the same at 20 miles. Okay, so you not only have to understand that the mirage is behaving the same way, but you're also looking over an extended plane at 1 mile. And as you, Brian, can you go on mute or something? I think that's you.
No, it ain't me. Somebody's hot micing though.
Okay.
About 5:30.
Oh, Enigma, you got a hot mic. There we go. Thanks.
So if you are looking over an extended plane at 1 mile, when you look 20 miles, you're still looking over an extended plane. So you have to understand that I mean, come on, we all know this. The laws of perspective, the laws of refraction, and the laws of geometry are all the same, no matter what the distance. So if I don't have any mirage at 1 mile, I'm going to look over the road and not see any mirage, no reflection. I'm going to see a truck on the road. If I look 1 mile on the ocean, I can see the boat. But when you get farther into the distance as the truck moves away from you, you're now going farther into the medium and things are going to change dynamically, except for the fact that you're simply going into the distance over the x-axis, you know? So that's the uniformity aspect I was trying to pull out. I've said it over and over again, but I was trying to say it in a different, fresh way with a little bit more poignancy. So,
well, we like it better though when you do say it, man. When we have to fucking read it, dude, we don't really appreciate that.
I know, but listen, I totally felt that. No, seriously. While I was making it, I just felt the text was going to be better than me narrating it, so I just went with it.
Not even close, bud. But still good information. And I got a lot out of them videos, man. You know, I mean, I have my own ideas on the stuff, but really, you bring it back, you bring it down to earth. It's hard to argue your points, man. It's you know, you got to be constantly reminded. It's the x-axis. It's going off into the distance. It's like a shadow, or however you want to put it. It's not a vertical picture. It is x-axis. It is extending off into the distance, man.
I still can't
Watch
wrap
your
my
videos.
head around exactly why the mirage looks vertical when it's actually projected off of a horizontal surface.
Right, but well, when Ruhip draws his red lines, to something 80 miles away, you know, and then draws a red line to something 30 miles away, and then something 5 miles away. He's painting that picture and all the dynamics between you and all them distances as basically like a vertical snapshot. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. Took me a while to understand this too, thanks to Travis's work. But Travis, have you wrapped your head around exactly what is happening that causes that? Why?
Yeah, I haven't, right? I could make up a story, and then I could create a language of math to describe it. The only thing I
already done that, Travis.
Yeah. You know, I can't remember if I said this in a video or not, but I call it a kaleidoscopic beatific vision. It's just a beauty of physics with refraction, but it's if you think about the depth of a mirage, when you start watching the video, the mirage with the truck on the road starts a quarter mile away from me. And as the truck drives into the distance, it drives another 3/4 mile. But that entire 3/4 mile is enveloped in a mirage. And even though we understand that what that means is that the angle of degree of that mirage at that viewing angle covers 3/4 of a mile. So if you wanted to give the value, you know, I don't give a shit about arc minutes and arc seconds and whatever. But if you wanted to, like at Flat Earth Data or Heath Carmody, or you know, if they wanted to put a value to the degree of the angle of the mirage, then you would have, I'm just going to make it up, 10 arc seconds equals 3/4 of a mile. Okay, but then when you're 3/4 of a mile away, not only do you have the mirage, it's
Oh shoot!
Arc
You're
second,
cutting out a little bit,
but
Travis.
the angle is smaller. So now we've got 0.3. Okay, is this any better?
Yeah, that's way better. I want to hear what you're saying. So start back over where you left off. What I heard was as far as the 10 arc seconds per, just as an arbitrary number, kind of.
Yeah. So so just real quick. So if the entire mirage starts at a quarter mile away and lasts for 3/4 of a mile, so 10 arc seconds equals 3/4 of a mile of mirage.
Damn. No,
You're breaking up again, Bob.
You're
You're breaking up completely.
All right.
Yeah, completely.
Right. Yeah.
But I want to make a comment on that. Like now, let's say we're going to put some just little tiny hurdles, okay, and we're going to start them off closer to the horizon, about halfway to the horizon. Okay. Now we all know that it converges from left to right and up and down. So we space these hurdles out, let's just say 100 feet. Okay. The further off they go, the smaller area that 100 feet represents. But as far as you can see them, you'll see them get smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, this isn't even the refractive compression that is spoke of a lot. This is just regular perspective compression added with, miraging, atmospherics, and all that stuff, man. It's fallacious to think you could apply distances, anywhere. I mean, I don't know. You can't use any of these long distance, 30 miles, 50 miles as proof for a globe, man. To me, I mean, I've got no reason to doubt that I do have reason to doubt, but light, it's possible that if the Earth is a plane, okay, if it's a level plane, the sun's setting some fucking how, okay, and it's up there somehow. So it's either something we totally don't understand, but I like to try and understand things. So I like to say, just from a matter of perspective, something that far away from that angle, perspective is going to have the light coming upward, competing with the light in the foreground, in the background. Just perspective itself is going to have the light at an upwards trajectory in comparison to the light in the foreground. If you think about it or wrote it on paper, you could see it. But to me, it's feasible that the light, the further off it gets, it's kind of bending upward toward the less dense atmosphere, the drier, less dense. I think Jimbo used to put it good, the water gradient, the humidity gradient. And we all know humidity is less dense than the air itself, man. Travis might be pulling his hair out if he's listening, and I respect everything he says, man. He always brings me back down to earth. But it's feasible to me to think that the light could be, especially sunlight from a distance and a great distance, could be bending upwards and making shit look lower. But the evidence of that is sometimes the shit doesn't do that. Sometimes it looks higher, like Fata Morganas or like mountains off in the distance. So they ain't always lower. But it seems that further away, something's happening, in my opinion, to make things look far. But you can't prove it. You can't use auto levels. You can't use theodolites and all these things because that's beyond the scope of the equipment. Right. Shout out to Rob King.
There is one point that you touched on there, which is the perspective compression. It's kind of illustrated in this picture here. When each of these, the distance between each of these lines as you go towards the horizon is the same amount of physical space, which is why a couple of weeks ago when we talked about these two pictures, it's stupid to try to compare a close-up like this to a long distance shot like this. You're looking at two different perspectives. So this area of the mountain right here in the foreground is going to look massive when it's taken from this vantage point right here. It's going to look huge in comparison to the mountain. From this distance, that is going to occupy a lot less visual space, and it's going to be more comparable to the top of the mountain itself. So whenever you see somebody trying to compare two views like this, they're making a mistake. You got to be careful for that, because if you were to look at this and say, well, we don't see this big, and try to match this up and do stupid shit like that and measure how much is missing based on this vantage point and this vantage point, that's nonsense. And I've seen that a couple times lately.
Demonstrates that the best, man. One more thing, guys. He demonstrated that the best was a guy called.
Hey, brother, how are you doing?
Oh, hey, John. What's up?
What's going on, John? But this guy Ranty, man, he demonstrated that so good. He didn't just talk about it; he showed all these demonstrations, man. I made a video. Is who's lying? Ranty or Ranty? Because I just was put that out, not to be a smartass, a little bit of clickbait, but I wanted him to, maybe look at that and see that he actually he answered his own question about the Blackpool Tower. He not only answered his own question about the mountain, and he actually demonstrates it quite well. And he does it in 1/4 of the distance of his Blackpool shot. It just baffles me, the fucking stupidity. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna draw the line there, but it really just baffles the shit out of me. that's where I think there's got to be some type of circumstances, man. Because deep down in my my heart, I've always had love for him. But boy, it's hard to. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah, we get you. So anyway, back to this uniformitarianism. Is there anything that you can think of where the ballers violate this principle, where they say these physical laws are different in the past than they are currently, or anything like that?
Just dilating time period violates the shit, in my opinion.
Definitely the Big Bang.
That's what I was thinking too. That's the first thing that came to my head was the Big Bang. What is it they say, that everything came from something smaller than a pinhead or some crazy crap like that? Not doing it justice, but
I think it's a little bit bigger than that. It's like the size of a penny or some shit, man. It's something you could barely hold in your hand, but it's ridiculous. But I mean, dude, they act like they don't know what stars are. They know what they see through mass spectroscopy, and they have there's so many holes in that, man. I think shout out to Dr. John D. He did a show on Quantum Eraser, going into detail on that. And it's funny how everything up there is made out of hydrogen and helium. Just the damn same lighter than air gases that would float up there and get in the way in the first damn place. They don't know what stars are. They got a story. It's a pretty good one. It breaks down the further back in time they go, and it's a wonderful story. But that's all it is, the story. They can't prove what a freaking star is.
Great. Their story's great. They wouldn't have been able to trick humanity for this long if it wasn't a good fucking story.
Is it a good story though? Do you think if you heard it for the first time right now, when you're
Oh no, hell no.
as opposed to when you were spoon fed it as a baby, that you would have just gone, oh yeah, that makes sense?
Well, I mean, think about Santa Claus. You believe it if it's explained to you as a child, generally, right? Or at least some children do think that Santa Claus is real, right up until they're actually given the tools, basically, to work out the fact that he's not real. The thing is with the globe is that a lot of times people don't end up with the tools to take that step with the globe, whereas of course with Santa Claus, most people, right, if not all people, are given the tools eventually to dissect that and realize, oh, that can't actually happen, that can't actually be real. We don't experience flight, we don't experience magic, we don't experience any of those things in our life, so that must not be true.
That's a good point. In
Flight
one
like
way
that,
or
I mean,
another,
reindeer,
regardless of
whatever.
whether the heliocentric model is the truth or not, we have been inducted,
Maybe not.
it's probably the wrong word, but inducted into a cult because we can't verify these things that we're told. There's no way we can verify them. We have to take the words of other people. So they have taught us, in essence, a belief system, regardless of how real they think it is. And we have bought that because of the age that we were taught it at, in my opinion. I don't think I would buy it today if someone came up and told me that, this story. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah, they've got to hit you when you're early. In a sort of current day example of that, where we seem to be heading towards a society where they're getting rid of cash, paper folding money, and everything's going to electronic. Now, those of us old enough to have used paper money, in the future will still be wrestling against the story that it's a bad thing. But 100 years from now, when there hasn't been paper money for 50, all the kids have just grown up with stories of paper money, but they can't verify whether it was good or bad or otherwise. The story will just be, we got rid of it because it was bad, because it enabled, tax evasion and drug dealers to trade and all this sort of thing. But they have to, you're right, you have to have grown up with whatever the deception is from a child and been indoctrinated into that story and that reality, and be unable to verify the other version of it. So there was a period of time when, let's say, everyone thought it was flat, and then somebody introduced the globe scenario, there would have been a generation of people going, no, this doesn't make sense. This, no. But as they died off and the young ones came up in the news story, that's all they knew.
Hey, is he breaking up or is that me, y'all? My connection
I think it's you, Brian. He sounded pretty good to me. Yeah, I agree. It would be really interesting to, if we were able to talk to some of those people that were contemporary to that time. And I don't know if there's any, documentation or contemporary accounts of how that was received by the public when they first started rolling this out. But the schools are definitely one of their biggest tools for societal control, because they can send those kids to school. They're going to teach them the right thing, and whatever they teach them, that's what those kids end up agreeing with each other, that those things are true, and that's what they believe for the most part.
Yeah, I think that I think you're exactly right. I wouldn't be surprised if the school system introduced this concept to children first, because they knew there's no way an adult would fall for this bullshit. No way.
Yeah, exactly. So you go to school, you hear this thing, the teacher's telling your whole class buys into it. Maybe mom and dad don't, but they're old. They didn't learn the new information. So that, kids kind of blow off, a lot of them, what their parents say. They put more weight in the authorities, because that's what we're taught to do. We're
more
taught
weight
to
in what
trust
the teachers
authority.
say. That's a good point. I always, I would default back to my teachers, and especially ones I considered smarter, and they didn't know any freaking better. They're teaching. A lot of them don't even want to teach some of the shit they teach.
Yeah. The irony with that, statement is that even the professional is a parent.
Even the what?
The teachers don't even know.
Even the teacher is a parent to a child. I mean, it's like, so the children don't trust their parents, they trust their teacher, but their teacher is a parent. So they shouldn't trust the teacher either. Anyway.
Yeah, right. Jeremy, you were going to say something? No? Anyway, interesting to contemplate what could have been. And then we get up into our older years, and we're rewarded for listening to authority and buying into these things. People are monetarily rewarded. They're socially rewarded for all of these things that the establishment tells them. Just think about the position that we're in as skeptics of the heliocentric model, and how much backlash we get, and how much backlash.
Well, it's different, Brandon.
Of this,
once we get the truth, man. Here's where it changes for me, man. Once we hear the truth, and you don't want to accept it. Look, there's some things, okay, I can kind of buy into the bullshit, but at some point, common sense, and we don't even have to play that video from earlier. It's short. Let me just explain it. Okay, so they say that sun angles is what causes the seasons. Fine. Okay, it's an explanation. Okay, but let's just put common sense at its finest. Simple little test. It was 10 o'clock this morning. I had my son point to the sun. Okay, and I'm filming him. It was funny because a big ass wasp got in his hair and he started dancing. But then he comes back and he points to the sun, right? And so it's about 45, 50 degrees. Okay, so I say it's about 10 a.m. here in North Florida. Okay, the sun's been up for a few hours. It's about 45, 50 degrees above the horizon. That's about as high as it gets at dead winter here. And so it's at the same angle. Okay, now challenge my son to put his arm on the car. He tries, dude, and he burns the shit out of his arm, dude. He can't hold it there for even a full second, dude. And then he tries it again, and he's like, ah! Now, in the wintertime, I'll go lay on that hood and be like, it feels so good. It's not hot. And that would be after 6 or 7 hours of that same angle, or even, maybe even a little bit less of an angle, maybe even higher up. So that's where common sense has to kick in. And then you see the models of the sun on flat maps and all that, man, your common sense has to take over at some point. The denial the skepticism has to at least, be tickled, whatever, however you want to put it, man. It's got to, common sense has to kick in, man. It's just too obvious to me.
Yeah, but you're not rewarded for that skepticism. When you have the media against you, you have some of these things you speak out against can put yourself in harm's way, or, you can be jobless. I've heard of people getting divorced for their particular beliefs that were, in my opinion, reasonable beliefs. So
yeah, but fire's spreading, Brandon. It's spreading, whether they want to admit it or not. It's spreading, dude. And you wouldn't think it by watching, they ban it so much, but it's spreading. And I'm gonna tell you something else, man. I mean, let's be real, man. Them relationships that were, if you get a divorce over something like that, you probably already had some serious problems.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe the relationship was not on strong, solid foundation. If that's the reason somebody gets a divorce, pretty sure somebody wanted out in that case. That's what it sounds like.
But guys,
their best artillery is going to be to keep that common sense arguments away from the people. They can only do that for so long.
Listen, my friend, listen. I think media is losing. They are losing in all directions. They are really losing, and the ratings of the mainstream media is going down, down, down all the time. So yes, we are winning.
Well, in my opinion, as long as we keep telling the truth, we're winning. As long as we keep seeking the truth, even if we're wrong sometimes.
Yeah, of course we can have wrong sometimes, but this goes and we are seeking and so on. But we have no agenda, no strong agenda, not yet. I don't know about that, but absolutely, the mainstream media have the shit in the trousers.
Look, man, when I argue that, you know what they start talking about? They go right into energy. They can't talk about heat. Okay, they want to reify. Another shout out to Dr. John D. They reify energy, and I see where he gets that shit, because they won't talk about the heat on the hood of the car. They talk about energy and how it's spread, and they just take you off on this and give you a side dish of horse shit, man. It's just like, look, common sense. Sun gets closer, shit gets hot. Sun gets further away, it gets lower, it gets dimmer, it gets colder. There's not much of an argument you can put against it besides trying to trick people and sound smart. We're talking about energy and angles and bullshit that people don't want to hear.
You're talking about physics, my sir. It's about physics and reality.
Right? How dare me?
Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
Did you have something in mind when you were looking up the Uniformitarianism?
No, somebody just passed me that link and said this might be interesting to talk about. So yeah, I just thought I'd bring it up and see where it went. Why, do you have any more thoughts on it?
No, I just didn't know if I cut out and just missed why you brought it up. Besides, someone else suggesting it, I didn't know because you asked if we thought of anything on the ball side that might have violated the law of uniformitarianism, and then I didn't know if you had said what you thought, if there was one of those points.
Can I just say that heat is energy? I don't know how far I am back in the lag, but heat is energy.
Hell yeah,
energy
is energy. Fucking A, right, Brian?
Yes, Brandon. Thank you.
Yeah, but when y'all say energy, I try and tie you down. Which energy? Don't just say energy. What specific energy you're talking about? Don't just say energy. Let's say it for what it is. It's heat. The sun gets closer, it gets higher up, and it gets hotter. There's no getting around it, bud.
Energy? No. Energy is just an exciting of molecules. Like seriously, what kind of other energy is there? Is there different names for energy? I don't know what energy you're talking about. All I know is that
molecules is a big misunderstanding. everybody's talking about molecules. Nobody knows what molecule is. Something that you cannot see or you can describe. Okay, something that's holding something together. Okay, but
Yeah,
but the molecules is not the answer for everything.
it's just a model. Yeah, they start modeling. They start wandering off into their model, John.
But I said excitement of molecules, not just molecules. I said excitement of molecules.
So what about water behind a dam? You know, is that those
that would be potential energy?
But there's no excitement of the molecules, right? But there's still a potential energy.
It opens up.
How about
when the sun hits it, the molecules get excited.
Well, which might cause evaporation. I'm talking about the potential energy of falling water, you know. But how about your muscles? Am I exciting my molecules right now when I'm lifting this thing? Is that what I'm doing? Because you asked what other kind of energy is there except for excitement of molecules, right?
Aaron, I think he was just being a donkey as usual, man.
Okay. You know what I was thinking when he said that was your argument about heat being a force, Brian? That's a little different than heat is.
Right. If they're going to reify energy into existence, I'm going to reify the force. I'm going to call it a force because it obeys. It's the exact definition. Like when I had Rumpus by the short hairs, I asked him, in 2 sentences, I say, I ask him what the definition of a force is, and he says something that causes an acceleration. And I say, can I move something with heat? He says, yeah. I say, then heat's a fucking force. By your words, heat is a force. Now that to me is, I'm being sarcastic because I'm reifying a force into existence. It's just a concept, right?
It don't have to be a force. It can be an effect also. So we have to understand what is effect and what is a force. Force is the effect is after the force. So we have to understand what you say.
I wish we had right the hand back, man. I mean, I had a little small falling out, and I'm looking back, dude. I'm like, just because I was like wrong, but I was just saying, okay, I accept this for what it is, just because we can all agree, and I'm trying to teach my son this shit about batteries, but he was dead right, man. I wish we could get Dr. John D on this panel a little more, man. If you're listening, man, come join us, man. Right the hand, stop in here and there, man, and even Pete, man. Where the hell, stop. In from time to time, man. Let us know they're all right.
I'm reading this definition of energy. So it says common forms of energy include kinetic, potential, the elastic energy stored by stretching solid objects, chemical energy, radiant energy, and thermal energy due to an object's temperature. So it sounds like the term thermal energy is used differently and often loosely in different concepts.
Brandon, have you ever seen John D's his last couple videos about energy and how they reified it and how he compared that to phlogiston and all that? He got some backlash from Bob, and it's like, God, how, you might not be happy with what he's saying, but how could you argue it? It's pure logic. This man comes from he's a true scientist, a true skeptic, and he speaks out of pure logic, man. And I mean, how could you argue that, man? I'm never going to knock a man. So if he's listening, I'm a big fan from his logic, man, even though I do fall into the terms and all that. Has anybody seen Dr. John D's video on how energy is reified and what the consequences of that are? We get stuck in a paradigm for a century or even more. That's where we're at now. We're trying to break out of this shit. We're starting to realize electricity is way more important. Photosynthesis is likely using some sort of.
Whoa. Who said electricity isn't important in the first place? Who took the importance of electricity and made it less than it is now?
Apparently, this is Dr. John D. Fellow, who I'm reading up on it, and he's laughed at in his field. So take it with a grain of salt.
But I'm
actually,
a big
if you look
factor.
at astrophysics and cosmology, they've ignored electricity.
So that's a job well done. There's his job right there. That's their job, people. Any new listeners? Their job is to mock, people trying to spread truth. Doing research. That's their job is to mock people and belittle them.
Yeah. hold on, just real quick. Whoever just brought up that point about John Dee being mocked in his field, are you talking about he's got peers to whom you can point where they are mocking someone in their field? Is that what you're talking about?
Plain truth, just so you know who you're talking to, this is a guy who couldn't name a instance where he believed that the government lied. I mean, this guy just drinks straight from the fucking establishment hose, bro.
The government lies all the time. Jeez.
Well, yeah, but just let him answer my question. Okay, you made a statement that John Dee is mocked and laughed at.
Yes.
But you said okay, who's laughing and who's mocking? Is it his peers?
Yes.
Okay, can you please provide any paper where he is ridiculed for anything that he's claimed by a peer?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'll go back there and find him.
That's just it. He don't make claims. He doesn't make claims. He goes by the method. You might not like it, but you can't knock it because it's logic and it's true science. It's science at its roots.
Okay, now again, I'm not asking you to show me like a screenshot of a chat. I'm asking you for a peer review critique in the field and the claim.
Peer review.
You'll get neither.
Yeah, because professionals don't act like the way globalists do online. Professionals don't mock each other. They don't ridicule each other. They're professional. That's why they're called professionals.
Well, no, if John Dee did put a paper out and it was something ridiculous, it'd get peer reviewed and they would be tearing it to shreds in the peer review. So, I mean, this should be easy peasy for this guy. Once again, though, I doubt he'll come up with anything.
Wonder which D it is to when you sit there and say, "Oh, this guy's left and ridiculed." Maybe we should look up on the chart and see what
That's his job, man. His job is to belittle us. If they can't get the argument, then they...
Let's figure out which tactic that is and where that falls in here. I'll bring that up.
In the scientific
Brighton,
method,
right? He's
right?
he's the Brighton guy.
They do that, though. If you go against the grain in any specific
He's a PhD.
field, they will.
He's
Brian,
got PhD in
Brian.
spectrometry. Sorry about that,
Fuck, man.
Sorry,
If you do
motherfucker.
go against the field, if you do go against the grain in any field you're in, they will mock you, blackball you, pull all your funding, all that. So.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what do we care if some jagoff mocks him? It's the substance of it that matters. So, does this person have a substantive criticism of Dr. John Dee's work?
Yeah, I gotta go back there and look at some of his.
That's really all that
some of his shit
matters.
Yeah, go fucking
I want
find
to
it.
see
Don't come back till you do.
see criticism on the argument, not John Dee. I want to see criticism on his points, not his person.
Yeah, guys, like
right?
if what he's finding, if what he's finding is a peer review addressing the points that are made by this John Dee character.
Yes, I remember this
that you would think they would be smart enough to not put into the peer review, "Oh, this guy's an idiot," and then not provide a reason, right?
Oh, no, I'll have to go back in there and find. But I remember John Dee. He was the guy.
Yeah,
that
he gave a good example, man. He gave a great example.
He was the guy that was who
Maybe
did his
not.
math wrong on his laser. I remember now.
What's his last name?
I don't remember. I know he's from Brighton.
Do you know his name?
I know he's from Brighton. That's all I remember.
Okay,
about
well,
this
how
shit.
are you gonna look? How are you looking up if he's been mocked by peers in his field if you don't even know his
Dr.
last
John
name?
Dee, PhD from Brighton, proves the Earth is flat. Let's see if we can get his last name.
Jeremy, his last name is D. Drop it there, okay? It's Mr. D.
Like, what are you even looking up if you don't know his
D,
last
or maybe
name?
it's capital
This
D.
guy's an idiot, man. Get him out of here.
He is an idiot.
I gotta second that one. I'm not very. I never would ask that, but they're arguing with just donkeys, dude. I like a true argument. You know, let's argue his point. He brought up a good example of phlogiston and how people for 100 years thought that phlogiston was a thing, and it would knock down better models with hydrogen and oxygen and all this stuff, and instead things were phlogistinated just from reifying a concept into existence. Okay, so knock the argument, don't knock the man, please, or get lost.
You say it weird. I thought it was phlogiston.
Yeah.
So you're mad that
That's what happens when you have someone talking about something that you don't know
Yeah,
about.
so he's mad that they're replacing things with hydrogen.
No, you missed the point. The point is by reifying a concept into existence, you're stumping science. Okay, since they dropped the phlogiston model, okay, they identified a better model. They identified different effects, different gases, hydrogen, oxygen, all this. So they don't consider something phlogistinated. They consider there's oxygen around to burn, and when the oxygen's go, it's just the whole point was.
Oh yeah, this was like that stupid shit that they believed way back.
What's the
when,
guy's
like,
last
the
name?
fire-like element.
What's John's last name?
Oh, I'm looking into phlogiston right now, dude.
No, look at John's last name.
Dude, I'm looking into this
Don't
shit.
come back to you. Have you come up with anything yet? Because right now you've defamed a PhD, and you were supposed to go away and find something where everyone was mocking and ridiculing him. Now you seem to be
trying to remember what his
disappearing off down some other trail at the moment to get yourself out of that. Just look up what you're supposed to look up and then get back to us.
Does anyone remember the Flowbee? Does that have anything to do with this? The suck and cut?
Absolutely nothing. That
Remember
was
Flowbee?
that was a cool machine. That's not relevant.
No, but it did suck your hair up into a vacuum and then cut it for you. So that's pretty epic.
You tried to get a BJ. Oh, never mind.
John, hey, Tony, you heard of John D.
Yeah, of course.
Before, right? D's nuts.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I couldn't resist, man.
He is just referred to as Dr. John D. Can't get a last name on this schmuck.
John Deere. He made a line of what? Tractors, trailers, stuff like that.
What peers were criticizing?
I don't
even
know who
his
this John
name.
D character is, but if this guy's gonna just sit here and throw insults at him without providing anything at all whatsoever, we should probably just remove him from the conversation. He's being an idiot.
Who's doing that?
Well,
Yeah, why are you being so hostile?
let's just
He
not
keeps
give
referring
any
to the
more
person as a schmuck.
mouth time on this because he threw a little hook out there, and you guys are fucking just biting on this motherfucker hard.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that, dude.
So fuck what he says.
Maybe not.
We all know that he's
Maybe not.
very naive young man. So fuck him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But we will continue to point that out when people attack that part. That's something we need to do right off the bat. That's what we started doing with NASA Shill. He never attacks the argument; he attacks the people. And
No,
so we're gonna
so
start pointing at. Hold on. I'm almost done. We're gonna start pointing at people and pointing at people who just attack the person and not the argument. We're like invasion of the body snatchers. They come in, we're gonna point them out. There they are.
So let's talk about
Good.
let's talk about this phlogiston, or whatever the fuck this shit is, and how we used to thought that it was its own little.
So just to be
element
clear,
in
you've
the thing,
got
but-
literally nothing on this guy
Yeah,
that
I
you
can't even
insulted.
find the
You got
motherfucker because
nothing.
he's so
You
irrelevant.
got nothing.
yeah,
Okay,
we really don't
nothing.
care what you're saying.
You
Does
can
anybody have
find
an
it.
actual
No good
topic to
reason
discuss
other than you
besides what
wanted
this
to-
idiot said about John D?
Yeah.
Because what he's
well,
done
I
is he's
remember-
just
I remember,
disrupted. So here's the 4 Ds.
Maybe
There's
not.
actually like 8
Maybe
or
not.
10 Ds, but I can't find it.
Maybe not.
So he's definitely disrupted. He's successfully disrupted this conversation and degraded it.
But also Brandon made a complete twat of himself in the process. Illustrated what a moron he is.
Oh yeah, because I can't really even find the schmuck to figure out what his peers are saying about him.
Oh, he's
they're
a
saying
schmuck.
about
He's
him,
a
like, relevant.
PhD.
Yeah.
He's a PhD, but he's a schmuck, is he?
Yeah.
So did you lie then? You agree that you
No.
lied?
Again, I'm
Because
trying to find.
you
I'm trying
said
to
that
find
you
things
said that he
on
was
a.
mocked,
I'm
and you
trying to
can't
find
find any
3-year-old
place where he was mocked
I'm
by
trying to
his
find
peers.
3-year-old articles on an irrelevant PhD.
So it sounds like you're agreeing that you lied then, because
No,
you can't
it's-
find the thing that you claimed was real.
Yeah. Again, Google out.
Okay. Well, they can continue that for a minute. Kango 24, New Zealand $10. Hi, dummies. I hope you were joking with that. Hi, dummies. But pretty funny if you were. It's interesting how non-skeptical you guys are. You don't want to learn how things work. You want to find things that confirm your existing biases and parrot flat earth memes. Gotta be honest with you, Kango. As with most of the things you say, that doesn't seem to be based in reality. Now, are there people who throw around just memes and sometimes talk about things where they're wrong or they don't have a very deep understanding of the subject? Yeah, sure. but for the most part, we talk through a lot of topics and do a lot of research too. So it's just flat out false. But thanks for your $10. But you should save your money and go on that MiG flight that you say you can see the curvature of the Earth from. Or you can give me the money to take the MiG flight, because that would be pretty awesome, actually.
It's you.
Yeah, so let's take a look at
Yeah,
this
so
this fire-like element.
Like, are you the love child of paid NASA show? Because your tactics right now are exactly like Phil.
No, I was here way before Pay National Shell. I was here like 3 years before Pay National Shell.
I'm not talking
well,
to you.
well, I'm feeling like I need to be talked to, so therefore I'm going to think everyone's talking to me. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Hey, speaking of paid NASA Shield, man, he added another master's. He's now a master in chemistry with his in English and he's a pilot of refuel. I mean, dude, his list just gets longer and longer. Today he's a master chemist.
Congratulations,
yeah, so I'm taking a
paid
look
NASA
at
shill.
I'm taking a look at phlogiston and how, like, looking back, just
You've
how
got an
little we actually
obsession
knew
with
about it.
What's that one guy that was in the Spider-Man movies?
Guys,
phlogistics is the study of fucking rapping, isn't it? Isn't it the way you can spit words out?
Phlogiston.
Phlogiston, isn't that that
that's
shit
just
you put on
logistics.
your
That's
feet
phlogiston.
when you've
You're
got
talking about
calluses?
James Franco.
No.
That's who. Is
All right.
is NASA Shill? Is he the James Franco of the ballers?
No way! Don't hurt James Franco like that, man. Come on now.
What is James Franco? Doesn't he have like 16 different degrees in like every subject or something? Just some ridiculous amount of like accolades and stuff, and he's just like some actor that was in Spider-Man and whatnot.
Yeah, he does keep going to school. I remember seeing that about him. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, all the more power.
Well, I guess
to
that would
him.
be an insult to him.
Peyton
Maybe.
has a Shill being an expert in all this stuff. I'd love for him to actually share his knowledge with us, because it seems like all he does is talk a lot of bullshit when he's on. But that's all
Maybe
right.
not.
I finally found that. So, you know, the 4 Ds that we brought up before of psychological operations. Well, there's this document. It's like a 42-page behavioral science support for J-trig effects. This is on page 9. Let me just give you the title. It used to be top secret. It's called Behavioral Science Support for J-trigs, Joint Threat Research and Intelligence Groups, Effects and Online Human Operations, which is human intelligence. So this is like a little Five Eyes kind of research paper here, I think. They've got a bunch of stuff in here. I'll put a link in the chat to anyone who's interested in this. I can't remember who I got this from. I got it on the level server the other day, but they've got a bunch of D's in here. Disrupt, delay, deceive, discredit, promote distrust, dissuade, deter, denigrate.
This guy turned his comments off.
Disinform.
I will just say, Johnny D. I remember the experiment he did on the surface level from the ground level with the lasers, and he absolutely proved the Earth must be flat. The laser, because he was using cylinders and pointing so far away to the shoreline. I don't remember how far it was, but it was very, very, very far away. And he did it in a scientific, while using the scientific method to do it. So Johnny D was doing the right thing, and he was a real thing. It's a long time ago, but yes.
He used the scientific method?
Yeah, he did that. Yes,
All right, John. Settle down.
I remember that.
Hey, Jeremy, are you back on your night shifts, man?
No, not yet. Still home.
Okay.
It's been a brief few minutes.
Gotcha. Cool.
But we can talk about it. We can find it. There are video and everything. He has filmed it and documented. Is documentation and everything about it. So we can go through it. Yes.
Yeah, if you can find it,
All right.
I'll bring it up.
Yes, we can find it.
Okay. So what else is going on, guys? It's open floor. Who has a topic that they want to discuss?
One last comment on John D, man, because I did shoot him out, give him a shout out. It's like, no, why wouldn't we trust a son of a bitch with a PhD in light on an experiment with light? What other PhDs do we have around here doing experiments?
Yeah,
Okay?
that's because he has the wrong opinion. You only respect people's accomplishments in academia if their opinion.
If he went by opinion, he wouldn't have my respect. He leaves opinion where it belongs.
What's the problem?
In the heliocentric model.
Why do we need this ancient technology of like balloons, like weather balloons? Why do we need that ancient technology if we've got all this new technology, satellites, weather satellites, it's all this other great tech. Why do we still employ
It's cheap and useful
technology? Go ahead.
Because it's cheaper.
Why do they hide it then?
To get a balloon up there, and it's easier to keep it stationary over what you're trying to look at than trying to get a geosynchronous satellite up in orbit. But again,
Are you an
like, I think
expert
these are
in
just concepts.
weather satellites or weather balloons, or did you just pull
No,
that
but
out
I
of
know
your
how to
ass?
read. I know how to read these things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good
Easy to
question.
read. I have eyes. I can read.
Yeah.
Do you know
okay,
that
so
just
go-
because you
go
Google something and
write us
look at the
that
first thing that comes up doesn't mean you know shit about the subject?
Write us that
I
article
beg to
you read.
differ.
He's an accountant, man. He knows everything.
Yeah, that's also why they're using like those balloons, those saddle balloons, or the saddle. Hey, shut up! Hey, those saddle
No, I wanna
balloons
read the paper
to
you read.
provide
Can you-
internet.
I
Yeah, I'll
wanna
get it
read
for
the
you in a
paper
second.
you
Don't
read.
interrupt me. Shut up.
No, I don't
Like
want
I
to
was
hear what
saying.
you have to say. I want
Like
to
I
hear
was,
what
there
you
we
read.
go. Much better. So like I was saying, it's the same reason why they use saddaloons to provide internet access to people in third world countries.
because it's cheap.
Remember when Squatting Dog told us that Five Eyes had been debunked?
Oh yeah.
Five Eyes wasn't a thing.
Hey,
Yeah,
don't
that was
interrupt
pretty
me.
funny.
Don't mute me because he wants to interrupt me. All right.
He said because of it was one of the debunking sites, I believe, that debunked
Yeah.
the existence of Five Eyes.
Yeah. So
Well,
again,
how did
they're
you
not
get
collecting-
that so wrong if you can read, if you know how
So-
to Google and you can
And
read?
so, if you actually read, it says it's gathering information over suspected terrorists. Not everybody. The claim was that it's collecting information on everybody, which it's not doing.
No. You said it didn't
I don't even
exist.
think there was even a claim
There
about
wasn't.
Five Eyes. He just
That was a
mentioned
claim
the
about Five Eyes.
That you just said the Five Eyes
Because
had been debunked.
because I believed at the time that the path y'all often go down is that the Five Eyes is collecting information on everybody. That's not the case.
So
Just
you're
on
not very good at
suspected terrorists.
predicting things either, then, are you?
Oh yeah, y'all aren't really good at like.
The
actually
point is
predicting
that the potential to collect information on everybody is the potential that pisses us off.
That wasn't
Oh, yeah,
even what the
potential.
discussion was about. We just brought up Five Eyes, and then this guy said that
Yeah.
the existence of Five Eyes had been debunked, which is a ludicrous thing to say.
I'd like to ask Brian a question. Have you worked out how lunar eclipses work yet?
Probably not.
I'm still waiting on y'all to work out selenium. Okay, how does the shadow come down from the top with the sun
Do I
and the
have
moon on
to
the horizon?
demonstrate it to you? It's not that hard to do.
Yeah. I'm still waiting. Please do. Please do. Don't let him off
This
the hook.
isn't really addressing my question, though. Brian was confused about just lunar eclipses simplicator, not selenium eclipses.
No, that's my whole point. It's selenium. We're shitting on your model today, Brenda.
Hey, you realize that you can see even on the globe model, if the moon is far enough away, you could still see it below the curve, right? If it is below, like parallel to the to where you are.
What curve? What curve?
Hey, let's just use our brains to imagine a big old ball that we'll be sitting on. All right.
I don't want words. I want a demonstration. Show me a shadow. Show me a light and then a blocking object, and then the eclipsed object above the blocking object and show me how you get the shadow to come down from the top, genius.
Let me get my
Don't give me words.
spotlight. Let me get my spotlight. I guess I gotta
Because-
do fucking. I guess
Yeah,
I
no,
gotta
no,
do like.
hold him to
I
it.
guess, yeah, I
And
guess I gotta
Brian,
hold on. I guess I gotta do simple little shit for children who can't think in 3D.
Go ahead, genius.
Basically, Brian, it's on the other side of the penumbra.
Yeah, but most people on this show know what a line of sight is. Okay, so we did this yesterday with triangles. Okay, now we're doing it with lights and blocked objects. Okay, if you know what a line of sight is, you'll know that it can't happen in reality.
It's refracted. It's refracted above the
Hold on,
horizon.
that's not even
Brian.
it. That's not even it. This is what all it is, right
Don't
here.
care about your words. Just show me a demonstration.
Right
please.
here. Watch me, numbnuts. Look. You see my light? Right there, the sun, my fucking bottle. And right there, it's being lit up from the bottom. To your perspective, if you were to be looking right here.
No, I want to see its shadow. I want to see the shadow come down from the top down.
You're
Hold on, show
fucking
it one
looking
more
at
time
it,
so the
dipshit.
audience can see. Show it one
I
more
ain't
time so
seen
the
it. Where's
audience
it
can
at?
see what you're doing.
Right there, you see that shadow on the orange? Fucking retard, look. With your
On
eyes.
the orange. Oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah. Right there with your
what are
eyes.
you,
Here,
what are
I'll
you
flip the
demonstrating
camera.
there? What is that supposed to demonstrate?
It's moving around kind of a lot.
Where was my light at? There we go. You can see it. See, look. The light is coming up from the bottom. Oh my god, and you can still see the sun.
What a
You're the
trick,
reason
dude.
we
Show
can't
us
have
it.
nice things.
Oh my god.
You're the
Right there.
reason we can't have nice things.
Yeah, like right here. You get the same effect. You're able to view
You're the
the
reason
light.
why we
The
can't.
light is above, right there, on the same field of my desk. All right. So is it really that hard to understand now? Do I have to show it to you in a different method?
You're not demonstrating it, asshole.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry that you can't fucking like see with your eyes.
Hey.
Give a line of sight between a fucking light and a
Yes,
blocked
you do.
object.
Right there. Right there. You got a line of sight of
Jeremy,
that.
your mic's
and
open.
you got a line of sight right here. Is it that hard to understand, monkey? Do I have to do it
Monkey,
again? Do I have to go out to fucking? Do I have to go out to fucking? Do I have to go out to what is it? Hobby Lobby?
You're the one that thinks you're a monkey.
Me talking to a 3-year-old is probably more interesting in what this guy's fucking saying. Shut the fuck up, dude.
What is this argument about, Brian? I don't understand what you guys are arguing about.
Okay, my point is with the selenium, Ruckus went off and tried to make a mathematical model and he couldn't. Because it's called the impossible eclipse for a reason.
No,
Okay, it
it's
ain't just
not.
Ruckus, it's nobody. Hold on, let me finish. So the point is when you have the moon on the horizon, above the horizon, and the sun above the horizon. Now, if it's the Earth blocking the light from the sun, which you're looking at a direct line of sight from the sun to the moon, even if it was the Earth in refraction, how could the shadow come down from the dumbass top? You know what I'm saying? If the Earth is starting to protrude, you don't have enough of an angle to wrap around the Earth. I understand that argument with the plants. You don't have the angle.
I'm
No,
showing
you're not, dude. No,
Yes,
you're
I
not, bro. You're
am.
just.
Yes,
No,
I
you're not.
am. Take a look.
No, you're not.
Yeah, look.
I'm looking.
They're pretty much
I'll tell you when
parallel
you get
to
it,
each
bud.
other. They're pretty
Well,
much
hold
parallel.
on. Let's try to understand why Brian thinks that is.
Well, because I don't
impossible.
understand why Brian can't understand this simple concept, but I guess he might be beyond help.
So NASA calls it an impossible eclipse, but it's very possible for you. Go ahead, genius.
Yeah, I'm
I gotta finish
demonstrating it right fucking here.
All right.
I gotta finish
So
eating,
what
but I
they
hope
say
y'all
is
don't let him get
happening
away
with
with
the
this.
selenium is basically this, except for the moon on one side, right?
Yeah, this is the moon right here, this little orange thing.
Here.
Here's the sun.
Yeah.
Earth is right here. Because we
Sharing a
live in a
diagram.
three-dimensional field,
Anyway,
the sun or the moon could even be off to the side, and this would still occur. As
So
long as
you've got
because
the
again, we know that on top of
moon
a sphere
on one side. So the moon would be
Mhm.
this. Let's just say this side is the moon.
My
this
hand
sun
keeps
over
getting
here.
in the way of the light. Let me see what I
There's
can
the
do about
sun.
that. Okay, there's the sun right here.
So the moon is right here, right? In reality, the sun is right here. Their
Yes.
apparent positions are projected up. This is what you guys say happens on the selenium. And the
Yes.
shadow on the sun,
Yeah, the
or
little
on the
shadow
moon,
right
the
here
shadow on the
is
moon.
on the left
so the
side,
sun
right there.
is shining on the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
and
That's
it's
this right here.
hitting the
That's that shadow.
sun,
There's
which
the
is
light.
being projected up above the horizon. Is that what you're saying?
Projected above the horizon.
Well,
no,
I
so
mean,
the
its
shadow
apparent
is on the
position
no. So
is
their
above the
issue.
horizon due to refraction.
their issue is, why is the shadow on this side, right? So if I'm looking at it from this perspective, imagine I'm on this side of the ball. They're asking why the shadow forms on the top right here rather than on the bottom. See? Moon's moving.
The angle's not there. Mathematically, the angle's not there.
What do you mean the angle's not there? Because Rumpus couldn't do it, I can't demonstrate it? You think I'm dumber than Rumpus?
All right, so you've got the sun.
Yeah,
and
you got the
The
sun.
sunlight
It's
is
visible.
hitting the Earth, supposedly, in your
Yeah,
model,
hitting
right?
the Earth.
Sunlight's
That's why
hitting
these
the
things
Earth,
are-
and it's casting a
Yeah.
shadow
Casting a shadow off
onto
the
the
Earth
moon
onto
over
the
here,
onto the
right? That's
moon,
what you're
right
saying is
there.
happening?
Yes.
Okay. Does the sun or the moon go faster around the Earth?
Around the Earth? What do you
Guys,
mean?
if you're gonna play in here,
The sun
the
doesn't
sun,
go
stay on
around
the
the
bed
Earth.
and stay over on
The
that
Earth goes
part.
around the sun.
Yeah, sure. Not over here by my stuff, okay? Pretty sure, maybe.
You're
This is also why this only ever occurs
Yeah, I
in the
got
late
it.
evening when the moon is
During
near
the
the horizon.
selenelium,
Hold
it
on,
happens
though.
in the morning. The sun is coming up during
I
the
didn't hear
selenelium.
an answer to my question.
No,
So
it could be also during the
moon is
late
the
evening.
moon is rising,
Try
right?
again.
Or is it,
Moon could be
or is it
rising
setting?
or setting, whichever way it's going
Okay, so
in relation to the Earth.
which goes faster, the moon or the sun across the sky?
Does it really matter in this scenario?
Yeah, I think so.
Not really. As
Well,
long as
I'll
we get to
explain
this
it. Can you
point,
just tell me which one goes faster across the sky?
which one goes faster? I believe, if I remember correctly, the sun goes a bit faster, depending on where the moon is in relation.
Does anybody know
Is
for
it
sure?
I don't actually remember myself. But either way, if the moon is going faster than the sun is moving, then like the sun I'm moving ever so slowly, this thing I'm moving, you're gonna get that effect. Even if the sun is moving and this thing isn't moving, you still get that effect.
Well, I think you would have to have the sun moving faster than the moon, right?
Well, the issue is the sun isn't moving in our model. I mean, like relative to like the Earth. The Earth is the one that's moving. It's the one that's rotating.
We can
So I
talk
don't know
about it
why I
like
would have
that,
to-
though, because of
Yeah.
relativity, can't we?
I mean, in its location to the sky, it's usually only very temporary to see. Usually either in like the late evening or the early morning.
Only look at it like
And
that. dude.
only when the moon is low on the
Hello?
horizon right there.
Hey, new guy.
What's up?
What's this guy's name? Can you hear when other people are talking?
You weren't talking, so I didn't give a
I was
shit.
in the middle of a sentence.
You weren't talking. Your
I
internet
was literally. Nobody else heard me talking.
You weren't talking. I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, get better internet.
Okay,
Get back
due
to me.
due to relativity, you can absolutely look at it either way you want, Brandon. That's
sure.
what relativity declares. So this guy's an absolute idiot.
No,
Well,
So,
that
Jeremy,
won't
do you know if the
change.
sun or the moon move faster across the sky? I can't remember.
How is
Well, I
that
guess I
relevant
can
to
look
this
it
The
up.
question?
sun moves faster, Brandon. The sun
Why
moves
would,
sun
what
moves
does that have to
faster?
do? What does that have to do with the question, though?
say-
What does it have to do with it?
I would
Well,
say that on a solar eclipse, the moon moves into the sun. But I don't
No.
know the exact
No,
answer.
Yeah,
I'll
you-
Brandon.
tell you
that's
why
not-
I'm asking the
Moon
question.
moves. The moon rotates around the Earth. It doesn't move into the sun.
I'll tell you why I'm asking the fucking question. So I'm asking the question because if the sun's over here and it's going this way, it's going to cast this shadow. This shadow would move up and catch up to the moon since the sun is moving faster. And that shadow would appear to come from the bottom up in this model, right? You
That
understand
would
what I'm
be
saying?
if it's only in the one section of the penumbra. If it's actually in the other section, then it would be the reverse.
What do you mean? Explain a little. That doesn't make any sense. So you got the sun here. It's going this way, right? The moon's going this way. They're both going the same direction, right? So the sun goes down. The sun's light is casting the sun's light is casting a shadow. The shadow would move in the same direction. If the sun is
Yeah, so the
going
sun's-
faster than the moon,
Do you see?
then that shadow would catch up to the moon and it would appear from the bottom
Yeah,
up.
so
Correct?
the sun,
Right.
the
Can I talk, please, for a second?
Well,
Pretty please.
yeah, I got my explanation out. Do you understand it?
Yeah.
So
So do you see me sharing my screen?
No, but I will.
I'm sharing my screen.
So from equinox to equinox, the sun, it's 6 months. That's the time frame. The sun, we know there's, 12 hours of sun at one equinox, 12 hours at the other. It's 6 fucking months. That's the same time for the moon to make that distance. Is actually six and a half months. 6.5. So it actually.
So I was hoping to
rotates here
explain this. This is
faster
the
than
months.
sun
The
does.
months of
By the moon
equinoxes is
calendar,
not. It's
13
nothing to do with
months,
what we're talking about.
within the same 365
Why are we
days.
talking about the
Yeah,
equinox?
this is well because he needs to spam. So,
Well,
so if you see this illustration here,
I'll come back to
if
you.
you see this illustration here, Brandon,
no problem.
If you see
yes,
this illustration,
I see this
Brandon,
illustration, yes.
the moon is in the moon in the position in the lower penumbra.
We can use
Is
my
moving. It's rotating in this direction, right? And it's being refracted
doesn't rotate.
above this horizon. The person
Moon
above
doesn't
here,
rotate.
and so it's
The moon doesn't
rotating
rotate.
into.
The moon doesn't rotate.
It's revolving.
Absolutely does rotate.
Yes, well, yes, it does. It does
Well,
rotate,
no,
and
no,
it
doesn't.
revolves.
Well, no.
No,
it doesn't.
So I don't want to get sidetracked on elementary issues. It's revolving
Elementary
into the
science,
umbra,
maybe.
into the umbra, right?
You do
And
realize
that's how it can
you
look
realize,
the way that.
you do realize.
Excuse me. I thought I was going to have
were
a
finished.
chance to say something
No, you were
without.
finished.
No, I'm not. You can
you
tell
were.
I'm not finished
Let
because I'm
let
not
Brenta
done
talk.
talking.
Let Brenta do it.
No,
Let
but I
Brenta-
was. You were.
Yes, thank you, John.
Your explanation.
I'm
was,
talking. I'm talking.
Your explanation was refracted up, so I saw it ahead of time. So what you have to realize is that in order for the moon to be in the penumbra like you're suggesting, the moon would have to be on the bottom side of the Earth, which it's not, because it was all.
Yes. Yes, it can be because
it was
because
just in the fucking
yes, it
sky.
can be.
It was just
It's
in the
far
fucking sky.
away. It's
It was
far
just
away.
in the fucking sky, in line of sight. Just like Brian said, line of
moon
sight, we see it.
Is
That's
far
because it's there.
away.
Here,
The moon
far.
is
Hold
far
on, guys,
away.
I'm getting lost in the
moon is
in the
far
argument
away.
here. What was your point?
Yeah, that's because there is
Well,
no point.
I keep getting interrupted. Why don't you? I'm not allowed to finish.
Hold on, Travis. I'll give you.
No,
a chance
I'm
to
not begging any
respond.
questions.
Let her
I'm
finish.
saying
Let her
the
finish her
moon is
thing, and then
here.
Travis, you can respond. Go ahead.
So I'm saying the moon is in the lower section of that penumbra, moving into the umbra, and therefore, and nevertheless, it's far enough away that it gets refracted above somebody who is at the terminator here at the top, at depending on where that is, maybe here, whatever. And nevertheless, and also the sun is also very far away, really far away, and it's also being refracted up. So the moon moves into the umbra, so it looks like the shadow progresses from top down. And you're thinking that it could only be in this area, but it's not true. It's far enough away that it can also be here.
So it's backwards. So there's two
What is
ways it
reality?
can
Draw a
happen.
globe
And
and
I'm done.
draw a man on the globe. That's where you got to start. You got to draw
Hold
a
on,
globe
Brian.
and draw a man on
Brian,
that globe.
Travis.
Once you do
was
that,
gonna
you're screwed.
respond.
I'm sorry.
Travis, that's all right. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, I really honestly don't have anything more to contribute because we're begging the question with this discussion. The Earth has to be a globe in space in order for this explanation to work, and I'm not conceding that point.
Well,
no
that's
one
too
is
bad.
conceding that point. We're just discussing
Okay, here's
the
my
model
point. Since I brought this
and
up,
whether.
let me,
Hold on,
let me- since I
Brian.
brought this up,
We're just discussing
Sorry,
the
shit, I
model
couldn't
and
hear you.
whether or not it aligns with their claims. That's all.
Right. So let's discuss then the selenelian in and of itself, right? We all know the selenelian exists, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, from what I understand, it can happen either early in the morning or in the evening, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, let's take it as an evening phenomenon.
Mhm.
So, that means it was already up in the sky. So now the moon, so now the moon is traversing through the sky toward the horizon. What you're going to have to argue is at some point the moon stays above the horizon while the moon is moving beyond the horizon below the Earth.
Or maybe it's coming up from the horizon?
No, I'm not talking about the dawn. I said we're talking about the evening display, right?
Yes, where the sun also, or where the moon also comes
Now-
up from the horizon.
Okay, so we have to then establish when the solennelian happens. Is it happening when the moon is rising or when the moon is setting? Can it happen either way?
I mean, I'd have to look further into it, but
Well, let's see if somebody can
concept
get the
still
answer
kinda
to that
stands.
question. That's an interesting
I would really like
question
to make
because
this
it could
point now.
happen both ways. So what you guys are saying, if I can try to kind of
My point
interpret
is,
here
Brandon,
for
I
a
gotta get
second.
this
So we've
out,
got
bro.
the moon. I'm going to use this white as the moon. In one instance, you could have the sun rising over here, right? And it's casting a shadow that the moon is then moving into. So the shadow would go from the top to the bottom. If we were, that would be at sunrise. If it happens at sunset, then you've got the sun going down, casting a shadow upwards, and the moon is moving into the shadow upwards, right? So it's coming from the top down. The shadow would. Are you guys on board with that?
Yeah. I mean, sorry, I had a phone call. I'm getting spam calls from insurance companies.
Fun. So it depends on whether it's sunrise or sunset and what we observe. If it fits up with that, I suppose.
Yeah, but
Well, the sun is setting.
Yeah, so the one that's going to occur in New Zealand, or the one that did occur in New Zealand here a couple of years ago, happened in the morning. So.
And which way did the shadow go on that one then? Because that would be the sunrise with the moon moving down into the shadow, right? Sun's coming up, moon's going down faster, moves down into the shadow. So the shadow should come from the bottom up. Wait, this was bottom up at sunrise, and at sunset it's top down. Yeah, bottom up, sunrise, reverse on sun.
Right. So now let's go back to let's now go back. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm breaking up.
We can hear you, but you must not be able to hear us.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can hear me. So now we're back to what you were describing at the beginning of the show with the sun and the delay of the light. Because the moon, at some point, is not going to be the moon. It's being refracted up. So that's an apparent presentation of the moon. So at some point, the real moon has to catch up with the apparent moon. Or
no,
the apparent
that's not how anything works.
catch up with the real moon.
Rakia, excuse me, parent to what? Parent to what?
Do you think that refraction just magically creates a physical object? So what do you mean by
I think a refracting sun, a refracting moon, and a refracting shadow all above my head is a crock of horse shit. It's God shitting on your heliocentric model.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means.
I think you do.
We know that refraction
No,
exists.
honest.
We know that refraction can make things appear from behind an object.
Show me a refracted light. Okay.
I will
I
answer.
just always ask for demonstrations because it's a joke watching them try and scramble and put together this shit.
Yeah,
it's funny, dude.
So I'll find you that video. So they poured I think it was kerosene or butane on like a yellow pipe, and they were able to show something behind that pipe.
I've got a smudge of a reflection. It's a smudge of a reflection.
It's not a smudge. It's not a smudge. Go ahead and pull that up, Ellen.
Well, first of all, that was Dang Joss right there, that video. And do you live in a sea of highly cooled butane? Is that where you live?
Oh no, we live in a sea of gas, though.
Yeah, cool. So name one element of that video, Dang Joss's, where he was trying to replicate refraction over a cylinder that actually pertains to your real life, please.
So the gas that was formed on the top of there, right? We know that we live in a gaseous atmosphere, right?
What gas did he use? Was he dropping air, or what was he dropping?
It don't matter what he's using. It doesn't have to.
It does matter. It does matter because we could demonstrate real life refraction with actual air over a few hundred feet, or even 100 feet. So let's use real life.
Do you understand?
Stuff.
See, this is
Do you
like the level
understand
of...
what a principle? Do you understand what a principle is? Do you understand what a principle is?
No, they don't. But it's okay. We can teach them. Yeah, we can teach
Boy,
them.
No,
that's
I don't think you
obnoxious.
can.
You realize how obnoxious that is when
I
you
don't
say
think you
something like
can.
that, right?
This guy's an asshole.
And
Straight
yet
up.
you're here,
When I hear
Brender.
the when I hear the
I
dishonest,
don't think you're teachable.
And yet you're here, Brender.
when I
And
hear
yet
the
you're here.
dishonest statement of, oh, do we live in a sea of butane? Of course we don't. We are merely showing a concept as to showing how gas can cause refraction to bend light in the way that you could see it
Gas
around an
and or
object.
temperature and a whole bunch
And
of
then
other
you can
factors.
take that principle, that
And my
idea,
point is what you're doing to damage real science. Okay.
no, but you
Like
can
what
take the idea.
what y'all's concepts and principles are doing to damage an actual science when you got pebbles on the pond.
No, the
Just opening a
principles.
damn garage door and showing the real life refraction. Y'all's concepts are damaging actual fucking
No.
science.
Do you
I
do you
don't
know
think
what a lever, Brian? Do you know what a lever is? Do you know what a lever is?
Yeah, thank you for that, Ellen. I'll have to save that because it's funny as hell.
Do you know what a turd burglar is?
No, I asked you a question. A lever, right?
I gave a smart ass
machine.
answer.
It's not a smart ass question. I'm just curious if you know.
No, I
what
know,
a
Brent. I
lever
said
is.
I gave a smart ass answer.
So it doesn't matter what the lever is constructed of. It's the principle that matters. It's a
Why
mechanical.
don't you just bring
it's a
up
mechanical
another false
principle.
equivocation? False
It's not.
equivocation.
It's not a false equivocation.
Yes, it is.
It's an actual equivocation.
Yeah,
We're saying
it
that
is a false
refraction
equivocation.
works like
False
this in comparable
equivocation.
situations.
Travis,
And you are
Travis,
taking something.
she just said it doesn't matter what the lever's made out of, but I beg to differ that when I buy spaghetti and it's dried, right, I might be able to use that piece of spaghetti as a lever of some sort, right? What happens if I boil it, Brenda? It's still spaghetti.
How does that have anything to do with anything?
Well, you just said it doesn't matter what the lever's made out of, right?
Yeah, yeah. How does
Brenda,
that
you
have
play
anything to do
stupid
with
games,
anything?
you get stupid prizes.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, we are showing a concept of how
You are
refraction
showing a
through gas.
concept of a false equivocation.
This isn't a false equivocation. We're
it's
just showing
not
an
the
effect.
same.
I
We
want
are
some spaghetti
showing an
sauce.
effect that we
It's
know
not
occurs.
the same.
What do you mean it's not the same?
Science is the use of principles and laws.
The butane is freezing the air,
Let's look
making
that up.
ice crystals. Just
Let's look
that's
that
the
up and
extreme
see
you
if
have to go
that's in
to
the
to get
definition
a
of
refraction.
science. Science is the use of principles. Say it again.
Laws that apply always.
Principles or laws that apply
Laws
always.
apply always.
No, laws don't fall under the the category of science. You could never run a law.
Our science. So there are no. So we have here.
Never run a law. Let me see a law you ran through the scientific
Listen,
method.
Brenda, principle and
John,
law,
relax.
physical law is not science. It's just law. You cannot use science and scientific law at the same time. Law is law. It's nothing about science. Okay, Brenda? Try to
So this is a bit of a red herring, but when I googled what she said, science is the use of principles or laws that apply always. The second result was uniformitarianism, which interestingly was a topic of discussion earlier. But what does that have to do with the application of this concept from using butane to the atmosphere? That's what's in question, that you can apply that result to this other gas in other circumstances.
We are simply showing how refraction can make things appear from around a corner.
Does refraction happen with glass?
No, that
and
is
acrylic?
not what you're doing. You're freezing the air. You're getting the gas and compressing it and releasing it and freezing the air. It takes extreme temperatures to make ice out of the air to reflect around the corner. That's not how refraction works in reality.
There's no ice.
All
There's
you're
no ice.
doing
It's
is
just
screwing
denser
up
air.
the real science. Okay,
So
I know
it's
you're
denser
offered to
air.
talk.
It's dense air. Yes,
Why
you're
should I not
correct.
interrupt you, Brenda? Every time you talk, why should I not interrupt you when I can't even get
Hold on, Brian. Let's get back on point. Did Deng Joss recreate a selenilian? Is that what he was doing? Is that why you brought up Deng Joss and this butane shit? Did he recreate a selenilian that now we?
No, it illustrates the principle that you don't understand, which is called refraction.
Okay, how do we bring it back to the
No, it's
selenilian?
blooming,
How do we
not
do
refraction.
that? How do we do that?
Looming is a
Blooming.
form of
It's
refraction.
Okay, how do we bring this
Blooming
back
is
to the
refraction.
selenium?
Who was the idiot who just said that?
I don't know. I'd like
Blooming
to.
is an extreme form of.
Sounded like Howard,
a
but
form of refraction.
Tricks are not principles.
so how do we get back to the selenium before Brenda went off on this fucking?
Yeah. So again,
I didn't go
Wild
off.
goose chase.
Other people did.
Yeah. So again,
No, you did. You were
looking
looking
at
for the
the-
video of the guy that brought back a piece of clay over a cylinder, right?
This,
Yeah.
This,
That was
this
you.
is just a simple experiment that demonstrates a principle, and then of course you can, if you want
Hey,
to
bring that principle back to the
ask further
selenium. Let's
questions
do it.
about
I mean, it
it.
should
By
be
the way,
easy,
I'm
guys.
still
Come on.
talking. You can then ask,
Bring it back.
well,
Bring it back.
how far does this actually apply, and how far can we apply this? But
How does it
just,
apply to a
oh,
selenium?
this doesn't happen and this doesn't work, and let us shout a lot. That's
How
not
does
an
it apply to a
argument.
selenium?
Mosquito
That's what we're
repellent,
talking
your
Further
mic is really low.
questions, but you guys are not asking questions.
yeah, they're just
Thank
like
you, by the way.
not.
I will fix
How do we bring this back to a selenium? Like, how do we do that? Where's
Yeah,
the
do we have a
pathway?
video of a
Where's the-
selenium? That's what we could do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We have lots of videos.
in Dang Joss's apartment?
I'm looking for one. I can't find one, but I'm sure there's one out there.
Look up Selenium, and I just get a bunch of porn.
Ruhif has one, dude, but it's a joke, dude. The way they warped the shit, dude, they're not going to draw a globe with a man standing on top of it and then a sun and a moon just slightly over his head and a line in between the two. Anybody who shows me this, I want to see a sun and a moon with a line in between them to start. And then I want to see a man just barely under that line and then the ball under him. And then you can do whatever you want. I'll give you a few degrees of refraction. That they have to warp it. They have to use trickery, verbal and artistic. It's trickery.
We could
Okay?
just
It's a desperate attempt.
Yes, facts
to show a
are
demonstration.
tricky.
It's
Facts are
called an
tricky.
impossible eclipse. NASA calls it an impossible eclipse for a reason, people.
Yes, because
Brian, you wouldn't even be able to.
Right,
You wouldn't
without
be able to
refraction.
explain how a selenium would work on a flat Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have this beautiful thing that we know as refraction, which we know exists, and we know we can incorporate it in things because it does exist, Brian. So it's
How
not
does it
any
apply
form
to
of trickery.
Yeah, I know. You just don't like using it on a flat model, do you?
How does
You
it
know it
apply to
exists,
selenium?
and you know it happens all the time, but you only use it when you like to. You don't like to use it all the time.
No, because
Apply
I'm
to
waiting for like
selenium.
how it applies like within a flat model to predict anything.
Sure, we're talking about your globe Earth selenium there.
Yes.
How does it
Well,
apply?
Actually, I was trying to talk about just lunar eclipses simplicator, but you didn't want. You went to
It always
selenium.
Yeah, it always
Brian doesn't even understand a simple. Brian doesn't even understand a simple eclipse, let alone something complicated.
If you're
Hey,
going to
that's
use
very
the lunar
nice.
eclipse,
Does the
use
turd burgle?
all of them.
I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
we
very
can talk
nice.
about the actual subject instead of just insulting.
Yeah, so if we
each other
take a
and
look
shit.
at this, why do I keep posting this? Hold on. I need to copy this so I don't. If
You
we
were
take
talking
a
about
look-
refraction and
Yes,
how
if we
it's
take yes, because we
selenium.
know that a selenium occurs mostly due to refraction and a bit of geometry. So
Who
looking
knows
at
this? Who knows
looking
this?
at
How do I know
looking at
this?
this yellow pipe, we can
Yeah,
see
how do we know that?
red.
Hold on. You said we know that. How do we know that?
Where can I find it?
Because
I'd
we
like
have
to know.
demonstrations showing like how like what is occurring with a selenium. We also have the math showing how a selenium works.
Where are these demonstrations so I can look at them?
You have a model and math, some abstract shit, and
No, not
then
abstract.
now you know it. Yes, it's abstract.
Brenda, I will have a one-on-one with you next week, though, Brenda, on on Eclipse if you like.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome in my email box if you want to email me
Roger that.
Yeah, so
or
right
my
here-
DM or my DMs. I'm sorry.
you-
I'm sorry, Chief.
I'll bust
I'm
down.
sorry
It's
about
all
that.
good. It's all good. So we have the. Let me pull up MS Paint. I love this thing. Let me open up. So what is going on here is let's make the Earth right here. Oh, wrong tool. We have the Earth. Why is it not green? We'll make it blue. And then we have the moon. Paint it right. Make it gray. Right here. Move it down a bit. And we have the sun. Way over here. Right? Can't draw a straight line between the top of this thing into that part. Right? Let me,
Yellow is really hard to see.
yeah, let me change it to red. So we have the rays from this, like, let's just say Light can't directly travel from the moon and the sun, right? But we know because refraction exists. Where's my little fun tool here? We'll make this one orange. This will be the refracted light. Boom. It gets refracted both ways. Both of their apparent positions are a bit higher because of refraction.
Can you draw the shadow on the bottom of the moon from this point of view real quick?
Shadow on the bottom of the moon? Well, yeah, so give me a second. So because refraction is occurring with that arch, oops, why the fuck does it always do that?
Can you just shade out like the bottom of your moon there? Just
Hold on. So give me a second. I gotta choose a different tool. So now the apparent position, because of refraction, is a bit higher because we know that refraction raises things up.
Okay.
In
Can
many
you
cases.
tell the shadow on the moon though, so we can?
I'm about to. If you just hush for a second.
We don't care what you did or did not do, Carlisle.
Yeah. So again.
Name that movie.
Okay, so look at this now, guys. All right.
So we have Earth.
Here we go.
We have M1. This is the true position of the moon. M2 is the apparent position of the moon.
The ones we can see in the sky during a selenium. Yeah.
Yes, the apparent position. S1 is sun, and then S2 is the apparent position. Now, when we bust out our straight line, oops, that's the wrong tool. Things aren't necessarily. Things aren't necessarily.
Can you draw a line from?
I'm going to, if you chill. So now, since we have this line right here, that this thing will now create a shadow from.
What time? Can you draw the time? Just like, is it morning time or is this dusk?
Yeah, let's just say that this is the New Zealand morning.
Okay, so it's morning time. Where's the shadow on these apparent moons over here? Both of them.
Well, I just showed you, my guy.
I'll just take a black little thing and scribble out, where the shadows should be.
Yeah, call
And why do witches burn? Because it make a wood?
Where is the observer in this picture?
The observer's going to be on the top of the Earth.
On top of
Can
the
you,
Earth.
can you draw the observer? We need to see the observer.
Can you draw somebody.
Why do I have to draw an? Can you not use?
Because they're children. They're children. They need to see. They need to see a little stick figure.
But you're up there.
I can hear you.
Master Chin says, stop your fighting and have a cup of tea.
All right, now I'm getting confused. Which one? So S2
It didn't take long, did it?
actual sun? The S2 is actual? Or is that
Let
apparent?
me redraw it for you guys, okay?
No.
That's the apparent sun. That's the apparent sun.
So he's got to rethink it real quick.
No.
Why is this not better than a diagram that I was showing?
No, I'm trying to draw things in a better proportion. I don't know, because I have to demonstrate things. I have to illustrate things because I don't know why I have
Well, they
to
were
actually
demanding an illustration.
Yes.
Cool.
So,
Make sure is this the apparent position? Is this the apparent position of the sun due to refraction, or the apparent position of the sun due to the 8-minute lag, or both, or not, or what?
this would be because of both. Again, right? The lag they're talking about necessarily isn't the 8 minutes.
Jeremy, we'll do equations
more
later.
with the
Stop it.
refraction.
Let the motherfucker draw on his little white.
I just wanted to make it a little more difficult for him.
Yeah, last one, y'all, while he draws. Last one, y'all, while he draws. Make sure you tie the rope tight. Got to hold the weight of the king.
This is
Name
how
that
the
movie.
universe looks. This is how the universe looks before the Big Bang.
Good, the bad,
So
no, that was my
now
last
let
one.
the Big Bang happen.
Brian, you're hot, Mike.
Demonstrate the Big Bang right for now.
Anyway, so okay. Did we
Are
get
we
that
done
video
with
of the
that? Just real
Selenoid
quick.
eclipse actually occurring? Does anybody have a link to that?
Are we done with the Selenoid?
Yeah.
No. Just real quick, Brandon.
Yeah.
The problem with the moon being refracted either up as a sunrise or down or even up as a sunset, it is an apparent observation. So there is a real moon somewhere else that has to catch up. And I would like to know
What do you
at
mean
what
catch
point.
up?
It's not how things work in the physical world.
No, I understand that you don't get that. It makes it's very clear to me why you don't understand that. Okay,
This is
but that is
hilarious.
the reality.
Oh, geez,
listen very carefully. Stop. if we want to hold on, if we want to treat this as a sunrise, that means that the sun that we're seeing above the horizon is not the moon that we see above the horizon is refracted up, which means that the real one is below it because it's being refracted up.
Yes, you're catching on.
Okay, so as you keep watching that apparent refracted moon go up into the
roboting, and his internet is dying.
I really wanted to hear what he's saying. I think I know what he was going to say.
And his internet is dead.
What do you think, Howard? What do you think?
Yeah, so let me demonstrate it.
I think it was going to pertain to the actual moon catching up to, if that makes any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
No. I understand what he's trying to say, and I understand why he's having this issue understanding.
You do?
Yes. So I think the mistake he's making is that as the moon rises, right, then the apparent reflection would rise at the same rate. But because we know how refraction works and we can do some simple math, think in this case some quadratic equations, right? So let's say
Dude, you've only got 0.4 of a degree to work with, bud. You've only got 0.4 of 1 degree to work with. You can't come up from the other side with only 0.4 degrees. That's just y'all's angle. That's the angle that you have to use for the penumbra and the umbra. You can't deviate from that angle. Even with refraction, you don't have the angle. I'm sorry. There's a reason. Once again, people, they don't want me to finish, but there's a reason it's called the Impossible Eclipse by NASA, because it doesn't work with geometry. And y'all are trying to make it sound like it does because y'all are retards. Sorry, go ahead.
So thank you for interrupting me. But either way, the reason why, you're right. It doesn't occur with just flat out geometry. But that's why we incorporate things like refraction, because we know refraction exists and we know how to calculate it. So try again.
With a story, right? A story, okay?
So let's take a look here on my MS Paint. So I think that his mistake is he is thinking that as the moon goes up, let's just say 1, 2, 3 units.
Where's the light at?
Hey, it doesn't matter in this case, right? He's talking about the moon and how it has to catch up to his reflection, right?
No. We're going to the sun.
Hold on. Hey, can you shut up for a second?
Where is the observer? We need the observer.
Okay, here, I'll draw you a little stick figure, okay? Stick figure will be right here.
And give the stick figure some ice cream. They like ice cream. They like ice cream.
I'll even give him a nice little hat for you, okay?
A little hat. And a puppy dog. Do you guys want a puppy dog? Do you want a dog?
Puppy dog too,
little
right?
doggy?
The dog will be
Oh, look at the puppy dog.
They might be trying to condescending, but I don't mind at all if they have ice cream or a puppy dog. What would be wrong with that?
Yeah, so I
do you guys have a problem with ice cream and puppy dogs?
All right, so please watch the demonstration.
Where's the light source?
Hilarious.
Yeah, so
Guys,
I think
let's try to keep our composure here. Relax, everyone.
We're missing
so,
one
not.
Jeremy.
I think his issue is thinking that as the sun raises up 3 units, like in his idea, right, the parent position of the moon would be going up 3 units. Therefore, in his scenario, they would never catch up, right?
Just concede, you condescending prick. Just concede like a fucking normal person.
Why would he concede when he's going to the point?
Because, dude, you act like y'all are God and y'all can explain every little bullshit.
Do you
Just
know
concede
that
for
refraction
what?
actually happens to the bloody fish?
Guys, can we hear the end of his explanation?
For fish, there is an explanation.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, so
let's let him
say,
finish the goddamn
Yes, Jesus. It's actually really easy, right? Let's say that the moon is 3 units below what the apparent position is, right? The moon goes up 3. Due to math and due to how we understand quadratic equations when they equate to refraction, the apparent position will only go
You
up.
still don't have the angle, pal.
Hold on a second, please. Can I get in for a
Have
second?
the fucking angle! You
You're
fucking
going down
asshole!
here.
Can I get in for a second?
Brian, chill
He's
out,
trying
man.
to trick y'all!
Down to 0. It's fine.
Brian,
Hold on a second. So you
it's
got
not
the
very
sun on the
convincing.
left.
Chill
huh?
out, man.
Hold on,
so
you
we
got the
have-
sun on the left. Hold on a second. Is that the sun on the left?
The sun isn't incorporated in here. We're just talking about the fucking moon right now.
Okay, the moon's on the left. Draw the sun on the right
Why
hand
do I?
side, please.
Why do I?
I want
I'm
you to
not
draw
worried
the
about
sun
the
on the
sun
right.
now. I'm talking about.
We're looking at a
Can you
solenoid.
shut
I want
up?
you to draw the sun on the right hand side and then draw a line from the sun to the moon.
Why? We're not talking
Because they'll
about
be
the
able
sun
to
right
see
now.
each other.
Holy shit!
We're
we're not
talking about
talking about
Oh,
that.
wait.
Can you shut
Okay,
up
I'll
and
wait.
listen to my
I'll
demonstration?
wait till you
Good,
get
just
to
wait.
the
You
sun.
still,
Very
you
good.
still,
Just wait.
you still think they're teachable, don't you?
So again. So in this scenario, according to whatever I forgot his fucking name, the guy that was saying, the apparent position or the moon would have to catch up to his apparent position, right? Going back to this, let's just say, for instance, they're 3 units apart. Due to quadratic equations and how we know they equate to refraction.
It still ain't enough. Once again, even with the quadratic equations, you still don't have the geometry. Quit lying, dude.
Position only goes up 2 units,
Can you
right?
draw me
So
a
now,
shadow?
in this
For the
situation,
last
they are
time and
now
for the
only,
longest time.
after 1 unit of time, they are now 2 units apart. You do
Give
the
me a
pattern
shadow.
again,
For the
they are
love
now
of God.
1 unit apart.
Guys,
You do it
holy
again,
shit!
do
Let
not
him finish
they are
his
right
the
fucking
geometry.
explanation so we can move on, please.
It's getting cold. We need a sun.
That was his explanation, Brandon.
We
He
need a
never
light source
got.
so we can get a shadow, man.
Yeah,
I just want
he's got it in 3 times, bro. I'm telling you, that's his answer.
I swear
Let
to
him repeat
God,
it again and
I
watch where he
didn't hear
stops.
it because you keep fucking interrupting, Brian.
Yeah, so that's all
So
I'm
the
trying to
sun's
say,
going
right?
up 3. The apparent position is 3 units away.
Yes, 3 units away. Let's say, because of how we know quadratic equations work, the sun, like the real position of the moon, I should say, is going to be increasing in height at a faster rate than the apparent position is increasing in height, all the way up until they merge. That's kind of like how wonky mirrors work.
So the moon
So
will be
basically, he's
slower
trying to
on the
bring in the
horizon
sun
as
from
it
the bottom
rises,
side,
right?
Brandon. What he's
Yeah.
he's trying to bring in the sun from the bottom side. He doesn't have the angle, even with his quadratic
All right, we can go to that.
He still
We
doesn't
can.
have the geometry. That's what I was pointing out. I'm
So
sorry
once the
for
moon
interrupting.
catches up
No, it's
with
okay.
its
We can
apparent
go to
position.
that. I just wanted to hear his explanation to answer the question that somebody asked.
Yes.
I just was
Okay.
pointing out he's trying to trick y'all, man. The
Right,
geometry's
so-
not there.
Okay,
Even with the
there is
refraction.
no trickery. This is very simple.
Hold on, just real quick. Hold on, and then you can go. My question is, pooping dog.
Just hold on a second. Then you can go. I just want to go real quick. Then you can go.
Yeah, my question, just real quick, pooping dog.
No,
is,
hold on. I just want to go real quick, and then you can go.
Okay. So, pooping dog, did you just make that shit up right now?
No.
Okay, so can you please provide the paper where that's outlined for us?
This is outlined for us, and how
your
how
explanation
refraction works.
No, the explanation, because my question I've never heard anyone bring up before. So my question all of a sudden now seems to be miraculously answered by you ad hoc. You just made that shit up.
No.
Okay, so please provide.
I have to go out and apply and find a calculus
You're making the
textbook for
claim.
you.
You're
So
making
I'm gonna go to a calculus textbook.
This is a specialized argument. This is a specialized argument.
Calculus.
No. This is a
Does calculus not
specialized
incorporate quadratic equations.
This is a specialized argument about.
Moondog, go get a paper.
I think we can. I think we can actually. There is a good principle behind this because we actually see refraction happening, for example, with fish in the water. But then we could apply the same argument. Hold on, refraction cannot happen with fish because then the
we're talking about
refracted image would
selenilian,
happen.
bro. We're talking about the selenilian. How many
but I'm
times
talking
are we
about
gonna go
the
over
fish and the
refraction with you
principle.
guys?
If you cannot listen to it, then
Selenilian, man.
the
Let's
fuck
just
down
get back to
and
the
listen.
selenilian, bro. I need a light
so
source
the
on the right. Give me
imaginary
a light
position
source
of
on
the
the right.
fish
That's all we
has
need
to
right
catch
now.
up with the actual position.
Can I get the little black marker and
Therefore,
scribbling?
refraction
Fucking
on fish cannot happen.
Sorry, Brandon.
Now, obviously, we know that refraction
Listen,
happens
people,
in the real world with
quadratic
fish.
equations are algebra.
So there has
It's
to be
algebra,
something
and
wrong with the
here's where.
I understand.
Hold on,
And
dude.
that's how
Hold
long
on, dude.
it
You're using quadratic
have to
equations. Let me
hard
tell y'all
to
people what a quadratic equation is. A quadratic equation is you're using a fucking unknown against knowns, okay? It's algebra. It's not fucking
it's a
calculus.
formula. It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right?
No, it's not. That's the Pythagorean theorem, you fucking jackass.
That's a
Listen, all this
quadratic
dude's doing is trying to
expression.
confuse y'all.
That's a
This
quadratic,
guy's trying to
though.
bring unknown. He's trying to bring an unknown x to fucking equate with a known a, b, and c and give you an algebraic equation. Call it a quadratic equation because he knows somebody knows what the fuck that is and confuse y'all. He's full of shit.
No. Hey, Brian. Do you know what a quadratic? Have you ever heard of the term exponential growth?
Yeah,
It's exponents, you fucking retard. An exponent's in the fucking term. Exponential. Exponents, you fucking asshole. Quit trying to be smart and concede.
No, there's nothing for me to concede on. Do you know what a quadratic equation?
Concede that there's no geometry in the selenium. You do not have geometry to make it work.
I already said there's
concede, you fucking piece of shit.
Okay,
Do you know what a
hold on, dipshit. Why do you think I'm talking about refraction
at all?
Why do you think I'm talking about refraction, you fucking mong?
What, dog? He's
So
right.
You
You
do
don't have
concede
enough
that you don't
refraction to
have
get the
that
geometry.
you do
Go ahead,
concede
Greg.
that the geometry is not there.
I said that
purely
like fucking
based on
15 minutes
geometry,
ago.
it's not there, right?
Yeah, I said that 15 minutes ago. I don't know what he's fucking on about.
Brandon, the
Okay.
refraction's not there either. Check the DM I sent you.
Can you
refraction
show that the
is not real.
refraction isn't there?
Refraction
Well, it's
isn't
not
real.
on his
Why?
whiteboard.
We don't even have a light source. Come on.
But we have the sun. The sun is the light source.
Where is it?
Yeah, let him draw a fucking sun on the diagram so I can fucking get to it. This is bullshit.
Draw the sun.
Draw
Well,
the sun.
Yeah.
Let me draw everything in
Question real
proportion
quick.
then. Or more in
The sun needs an ice cream cone too.
Yeah, so I'll give the sun an ice cream cone and a puppy dog.
No, it'll
Hey, are
melt
we gonna
though.
see the refracted sun merge with the real sun?
Make sure the sun is
That
the same
doesn't
size as
that
the
doesn't
moon.
happen.
Why are you redrawing the whole
I
fucking
know it
thing? All you
doesn't
had to do was
happen,
put a
but we
circle
see
on the other side.
refraction, and
Because
then
it's
we
going to
see the
be
real one all of a
easier if
sudden?
I can draw things more towards the proportion.
Oh,
So we-
proportional code. So the
Yeah.
sun and the moon are gonna be the same size.
No, so like here, we'll
Oh,
draw
no.
this. Here's the moon, right? We know that umbras and penumbras exist. So we'll put this thing slightly below the penumbra, or the umbra, I should say, because that's what we understand is going on in this instance. Right, so it's slightly below the penumbra, or the umbra, meaning that now this whole thing, where's my paint bucket, is illuminated in a shadow, right? Oh, fuck me.
No, that was alright. Either way.
Yeah.
I like
so,
the blackness of space.
Yeah, so where is my other thing? If you want the sun,
Like his
Here we-
soul.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
put a
here we
little
go.
dot. Just put a little dot.
Yeah,
with the
here we
sun.
go.
No,
Right here.
smaller.
Yeah,
smaller,
like your soul.
smaller.
Yeah,
Come
so
on.
because we know the light rays from the sun hitting all kinds of the earth right there, and that's what's giving us our penumbra and whatnot. I have to make the sun a little bit bigger.
No,
order for-
smaller,
No,
bro.
bigger.
It's further
Has to be
away.
bigger.
We know
sun is
sun
bigger.
is smaller than the Earth.
Yeah,
It's
we know that
further
we know
away,
that the
bro.
Earth is smaller than the sun. So this is kind of what's happening here. Refraction, simply.
No, we don't. We don't know that.
Yeah, we do.
Draw the actual sun just like you had it before, bro. Draw the actual sun and then the apparent sun. The actual moon, the apparent moon.
F1 and
That's what I'm
S2.
trying to
Come on.
do. So I'm getting to that. So now we have refraction. Rays in the oop. Where's my circle tool? Raising the moon up a bit, and it still has that shadow pattern. So where's my line tool?
It didn't have the shadow though when I saw it in the morning.
Hey, squatting dog.
Aaron, just let him get, guys. Just let him get through this. Stop,
Hey, squatting dog.
What's up?
bro. Shut the fuck up, B-ball.
No, shut up, Jimmy. I gotta ask him something. Hey, instead of you trying to like
I'm gonna-
draw this out, for
Yo.
him, once you're done,
Serious right now, bro. We're right in the middle of something,
Shut up.
dude.
Once you're
Fucking
done
middle
doing
of
this,
something.
have them diagram
What
how
the
it works.
fuck
on
are
the
you
model.
doing, bro?
Everybody has squatting dog. You're doing good. Man, good. I
Because
got
we
two
know how it
thumbs
works
now.
on our
I'm
model.
double happy.
Let's let
I'm
them
double happy.
diagram how it works on their model.
Shit, man. Shut the fuck up.
I don't think they can present it on their model. That's why they're so gung ho on just targeting this and just denying everything
Oh,
because they themselves don't actually have an answer. But that's fine.
Draw some lines. Come on. I
My
want to see
wife's
this.
getting pissed because you motherfuckers are making me yell. Can you stop,
I
please?
got an answer after Jeremy's done. I got an answer for it. It's simple.
Hold on.
Are
Let's
you,
draw
are,
some
you
lines.
gonna, are you gonna draw a diagram, Brian?
Squatting dog to that moon.
You don't
it's
have to,
up
dude. It's
little-
perigee. When the moon is farthest away from the sun, the throw of the light doesn't make it, so the
Hold
shadow
on,
comes
Brian.
down from the top.
Just
There's a
hold on.
node.
Brian.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I
let me
can
back off.
understand what you're saying. I need you to just draw a diagram and show us how it works on a flat Earth.
We will later.
Okay,
but
draw yourself a
Squatting dog-
little. Draw yourself a
Squatting
snow
dog does
column.
You do it. You do it.
Hold
Squatting
on,
dog
hold
has the
on.
floor, you guys. Come on. Go simple.
Draw a sun with a limited throw of light. Okay, it doesn't. The moon hits points of perigee when it's farthest away, exact opposite, like they say in Eclipse. And there's certain points where the throw of the light
on, Brian.
from the
Hold on.
sun doesn't quite make it, so the shadow
Hold on.
comes down from the
Yeah,
top. Whereas the
could
throw
you
of the light,
please-
I repeat,
Could you
does
draw
not make
that
it.
out? Could you draw that? Do you
Oh
have
my
MS
God,
Paint?
Man.
Don't
I know,
write
you're
the
just
drawing.
drawing Jeremy's shit. All y'all are doing is obfuscating Jeremy's
Yeah,
fact that he wanted.
Drawing. I just
for
need a drawing.
8-Ball. Hey, for 8-Ball, he doesn't even know what the eclipses are. He posted in there an image where he would be a solar eclipse and labeled it lunar
Oh, it was a
eclipse.
typo, guy. It was a typo. Nice try.
Dude, we're almost there, Squatting Dog. We don't need a 5th erasure, right? So keep this up there. I'm happy as shit. I got 2 suns now, 2 moons. I just need more lines. I want and
Well,
shadow.
we need more lines. I
Yeah,
showed you
we're
all the
putting more
shadows.
lines in. We're putting more lines in. Hold
I
on.
already
Now
sh-
you
I already-
shut the fuck up, dude. Now pretend you got an observer on
I
the
already
moon.
drew the observer.
Okay. Now draw a line from the refracted moon to the refracted sun.
Draw the line from the refracted.
Or the moon? No, not the refracted moon. My bad. The actual moon.
I did. There's the refracted. So here's the moon. Arrow is pointing to the refracted moon. There's the sun. Arrow pointing to the
Draw an
refracted
arrow.
sun.
Draw an arrow from the actual.
He's got 2 arrows. He's got 2 arrows.
God.
He's got the sun
draw-
underneath the guy's
draw-
feet. Why is the sun underneath the guy's feet?
Because that's what we understand is going on here. So here is your line of sight. Right there.
Why'd you draw it to the bottom of the sun, bro? So you could clip the Earth, so you could have it clip the top of the Earth. You fucking scumbag. You are a
Because I can't draw
scumbag, bro.
things perfectly into proportion with fucking MS Paint. I apologize.
Even still, the shadow comes from the bottom. The blocking object is on the bottom.
Squatting Dog, why is the top of that top moon, why is that still shadowed, though? The top of the top moon.
He has to put them under your feet, people. That's the only way you can do it.
The reason
Why is the line from the sun? Why is the line from the moon to the sun hitting the bottom of the sun?
Because, like I said, I didn't draw it to proportion correctly because this is MS Paint, and I apologize.
But
You
why
want me
is
to
the
redraw
top
it
of
for
that
like a
moon-
10th time to try and get a little bit
Yeah,
better at
go
drawing
draw
in
it to
MS Paint?
proportion and come
I don't
back.
think
Go
I
draw it
just
to
want
proportion and come back.
I want a line of sight above my head.
we could just
So,
be a little
Squatting
bit
Dog,
charitable and
maybe I have a
at
better
least a
question.
little honest
I
and
have
be
a
like, oh,
better
hey,
question.
what I'm
Squatting-
trying to represent, maybe we can just
I have
move
an
in our
honest
minds just a
question.
little bit up a bit.
I have an honest question. What's causing the
No,
shadow
you don't.
on the top of that upper moon there? What's causing the
Because
shadow?
because think of this as the image, right? The original one right here, right?
Yeah, with the
This,
dude there,
the refraction is just bringing this image right here upwards, right? That is what is going on here.
Wait, hold on. Is the light going to hit the top of the moon first? I mean, last, or the bottom of the moon last?
That's the refracted image. It isn't real.
But listen, is the light from the sun going to hit the
It's
top
not
of the moon
real.
last, or the bottom of the moon last, please?
It's not real.
That's probably the most.
Either way, it's an answerable question.
The refracted
in his
image.
diagram. In his diagram, he's not bypassing my problem. My problem is the shadow's coming from the top. In your diagram, the sunlight is hitting the top of the moon last, not first. But
The sunlight is hitting the top of the moon last. What?
Who knows? Who knows?
what you're drawing,
These people can't
the
do
sunlight-
subtraction. So what do you expect?
But next time one of you ballers has like this conversation where you're acting like we're not here and talking about flat earthers, I'm gonna fucking mute you and kick you. It's really obnoxious.
Well, maybe
I'm
you
trying to-
maybe
Maybe you
stop-
should
it's
just
how they
fucking
talk
stop
to us.
doing that.
It's how they were
Can I
raised.
jump in? Hey, listen,
What I'm
just
trying
because
They were
because I don't
raised
have
to
a
be
good
rude.
connection. Wait, I don't have a good connection. Let me ask Brenda a question. Brenda, you said the image is not real. Okay?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so when we're watching this not real image rise up over the horizon,
Mm-hmm.
and we keep watching it, and then all of a sudden we see the entire
What? That's,
Damn
there
it,
he goes.
Travis.
not real image above the horizon. At what point does that not real image become the real image? At what point does that not real image become the real image?
So right over here. When the,
I'm asking Brenda. I'm asking Brenda.
Okay.
When it's no longer being strongly refracted by a sharp angle
Okay,
with the
but
atmosphere of the Earth.
we only see one image ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not
Right.
going to see both the physical
Mhm.
moon and the apparent position of the moon.
Right.
We're not going to see
So-
both.
So the question.
Okay,
the
listen,
question,
hold on. No.
I
In
can-
his
I can-
diagram,
Hold on.
in his diagram, he has the two separated. They're not
Yes.
near each other.
I understand
So,
what you're saying.
Do you think?
Let him finish.
Well, I thought he was done.
No, that's okay.
He
If
busted
Howard
your
wants
ass.
to,
Let him finish.
if Howard wants to listen, if Howard wants to take over because I might break up or whatever, if he thinks he understands, I'll let him communicate from here on out because I don't know when I'll break up.
So the moon.
On Travis's lines right there on your
So
sun.
the moon.
I just want to ask. I want to ask Quoting Dog. Does the apparent sun, the S2 up there, does that shoot apparent light, or is
Hold
the
on,
actual
Aaron,
light?
No,
Aaron,
that's just
Travis
as
just
apparent.
asked a question. Travis just asked
But they
a
don't
question.
care. They don't care about your. They don't care about your
Oh,
channel.
I was just wondering to.
They don't care about it.
Okay, you can ask that after we get an answer to Travis's question.
When do the two images become one?
So the misconception here is in thinking that the top moon, right, which is being refracted up, can somehow be illuminated by the sun. That was the question. The question was, why is he showing the refracted moon as being partially lit by the sun? And the answer is because it doesn't exist.
No, that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm saying.
What Travis is talking about is when does the actual sun catch
I
up
will answer
to
that.
the refracted sun?
Okay, so I'll answer
And
that.
or moon, Howard, and or moon.
Yeah, so I'll answer that, right? So I kind of have to draw a new one to explain this. So I'll have to file new.
Well, I mean,
just take that horse shit off the screen, bro.
Yeah,
Draw
so-
something else.
Just simply, I would imagine that there would be a slight pause in the movement of the sun.
It has to slow down. Yes.
Yeah.
It-
So
it-
here, no.
they
So
have
here's what
to
slow
slow down in order for it to
Yes. Yes. The
right?
apparent position slows down, but here's why. We know that. Let's just draw a whole bunch of layers of gas with different colors, right? So gas, different lighter, like
Okay,
hold on.
while he's doing this, you guys understand he's making this bullshit up right now.
No, I'm not. This is what we. This is what we observed.
No,
So-
no. We can describe this. We can describe this in our way as well. So again, if
So
you
am I
are
gonna even be able to
listen,
finish?
listen. It's
I guess
very
not.
simple.
No.
It's very
probably not.
simple. If you have this knowledge based on something that has been proven by a paper, please provide the paper so that we can read the same information as you. Don't make this bullshit up and say, like Howard just did.
It doesn't
I'd like to
exist.
imagine.
I can
I'd like to
just-
imagine.
Quoting
so-
Dog, check this out. Travis is my friend. He'll understand. Draw the stratosphere. Go ahead and draw
So
the
what
stratosphere.
I'm trying to do is I'm
Draw
trying
the
to show.
stratosphere.
I'm doing this. I'm showing different layers of gas,
And then
right?
draw the mesosphere above it.
I fucking made like
Just
like
ignore the sea
okay.
lion. He's a sea lion. He's a sea lion. Ignore
Alright,
him.
Then
yeah,
draw
I'll
the
just ignore him for a second.
troposphere. Then
I'll
draw
ignore him
the exosphere. Okay.
I'm
All
not
right.
listening.
We got all these spheres. Look at
All
this,
right,
guys.
so
We
you've got the moon. It's coming up. You see the
So
apparent
hold
moon.
on.
Look at all these spheres.
Come on,
So-
man. You don't need to do all
During
this
the
shit.
day.
Just draw the two fucking moons and tell us how they
I'm
become.
trying to.
I wonder if
get
they
there.
shoot radio waves to the apparent moon or the refracted moon.
You need to draw some curves.
Dude,
Draw some
Dude, you
curves for
forgot the
us.
ionosphere. Put the
So
ionosphere
you
in there.
have.
Come on.
So let's just say the moon was down like right here, right? It would appear due to the much denser medium, like up here, right? Oh, I can't even move it again. So because the
It
very
don't matter.
dense
Just draw them above your head. They got to
Yeah,
be above
so-
the head because that's what we see in reality. You can draw a refracted one below it, but start off with the sun and the moon above my head.
Is
And a
that
straight
green
line
line?
between them.
Is that the ground?
What do you think I'm demonstrating here? Are you even watching my live stream? Let me see if you're even fucking paying attention.
I'm watching it. I'm watching
Okay.
it. Last time you didn't, so don't say you did.
Is that the
so
horizon?
yeah, so okay, I'll come back to that later, but I'm not gonna let you distract me. So we know how layers of refraction work. We know that through denser mediums, refraction tends to be higher.
Just
So
get to the
as-
fucking explanation.
I am getting there, right? So we're on here.
I
As
thought
the,
light and
as the
sound was-
actual moon gets
Light-
higher up in the atmosphere or gets higher up in the sky, it shines through a less and less medium, right? Medium meaning that refraction is less and less and less, all the way up until you get directly overhead. And we know with the rules of refraction, if something is coming in at 90 degrees, there is
We
no
don't need a
refraction.
fucking explanation of refraction. Tell us what happens on the horizon with the
I just
apparent
did.
moon and the real moon. Does it slow down?
Yeah, yes. So like in my demonstration, the apparent moon goes at a slower rate of going up as the real moon does going up in the sky, all the way up until they meet each other at 90 degrees over your head.
So it goes slower near the horizon.
Yes.
That is the claim, right?
No, it goes slower starting from the horizon all the way up until it meets at 90 degrees above your head.
So the sun would do the same, meaning it doesn't move at 15 degrees per hour, right?
Over the course of the entire thing, it is moving at 15
Oh,
degrees.
Wait, listen, hold on, Brandon. Brandon, listen very carefully. Brandon, unless I'm mistaken, but this is the reason why my question came about. His explanation would require that we would see two moons in the fucking sky. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Don't when we look at a fish that's refracted, do we see two
Okay, hold on,
fish?
just real quick. Let me reiterate. Hold on, let me repeat what he just said. The refracted moon, and the real moon meet at a 90-degree vertical observation.
What he said.
Yes, that's what I
he
said.
Right. So listen, right. So then, until it catches up, there's two fucking moons in the sky.
You're not
And
going
I
to
can
see
prove
both
this.
of them. You're going to see the apparent position of it.
And I can prove this because
new levels of knowledge.
Because I've seen two boats opposite distance. One's refraction.
New levels of
We can explain
I
this
don't
with
think you've ever seen
fish.
Yeah, so like I was saying, right?
Fish might be a better way to go about it.
Why would you see both of them? If we know that the apparent
You would
position of the
see two
moon
fish.
is the way the light from the moon shines to meet your eyes, right? And so when it gets refracted, no, that's not ridiculous. That's how fucking light works. I'm sorry you don't understand that.
Dude, you're
That's
all.
fine.
Well, what do you think a
Where's
mirage is, bro? What do you think a mirage is?
I think we just debunked refraction because you would see two fish in the water. Therefore, refraction is fake and doesn't
I'm
happen.
looking straight down at the fish.
No, that's a good point, right? You would
Bro,
see
I'm
two
looking
fish in the water
straight
by
down at
looking
the
into the
fish,
water.
bro.
That's
I'm
an odd
looking
way to.
straight
That's an odd
down
way
at
to
the
represent
fish,
it.
Crow. Once I get further enough back at a certain angle, I can't even see the fish, Crow. Right?
Okay, cool. So again,
I can only
yeah,
see
so
it when I'm looking straight down.
that's a really good thing to bring
So
up.
you
Why
would
don't
not
we see
see two
double fish
fish
in the water when
because
we
you're
look
looking
down in the
straight
water?
down at it. You're looking
No, not even
down
looking
at
down.
it.
Not even looking straight down.
See
Let's just say we're
what?
looking at it from
Guys,
It's right by your feet.
come
Oh,
on,
you saw
guys.
it.
No, but
It
hold on, I'm
does.
trying to.
We wouldn't see two moons. It's just the position
Let's be
and how it
honest.
moves through the sky is different because of the refraction. I don't think we would see two moons just because we're seeing the refracted image. That is the light that's coming from the moon. So if it's in a position where that light is being refracted to the point where we see it somewhere where it isn't, we're not also going to see it where it actually is. That's
I'm
why
a little
it's
more
refracted, right?
Not only
the whole
refracted,
argument is
but
absurd.
I can explain it.
reflected light. Shut up, Anton.
Does
So
anybody
here's the
want to
here's the
acknowledge what I just said? Like, yes, I understand.
No,
that
I know.
you're
You know,
wrong.
Brandon, I completely. I completely agree with Brandon.
You're 100% right. Yes.
So can I can explain this. I'm a little more practically minded than Chief is. If you put a pencil in a glass of water, it looks broken, right? That's because of refraction. The broken part of the pencil is its apparent location. As you change the angle of your eye to that glass of water, that will change and it will merge and it will no longer be broken. That's
why are you changing mediums? Why are you changing mediums? You're bringing in
no, you're just changing the angle. You're changing the angle. When you look straight on,
we're looking through a glass.
You won't see any refraction. When you look at an angle, you'll get
Give me
refraction.
an example.
You get
Through an atmosphere.
It's a glass of water with a pencil in it. It's a glass of water with a pencil.
Not in water.
We are not looking. We are not looking through two different mediums.
Or a piece of
It's
glass.
the principle involved.
No. That's where your pseudoscience
Yes, it is.
exists.
That's how science works.
Just like you're
It's by
pseudosexual,
principles and laws.
just like you're a pseudosexual, you're a pseudoscientist
I'm not a
right now.
pseudosexual. I'm
Hold on,
actually
Brenda. Look, if we can't use refraction to explain eclipses, you would call it pseudoscience if I tried to use refraction to explain eclipses on a flat Earth. But we call it pseudoscience, and you argue,
right?
Is that fair?
No, hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. This is a good route because I'm kind of getting tired of explaining to these people. I mean, Brandon's able to get it. Brandon's a smart guy, so I'm not going to waste my time anymore. So, Brian,
He just
explain
used
to
water and air to explain air.
Explain to me how
an
eclipse happens on a flat Earth.
Okay, here you go. Here you go. Would you agree that eclipses happen at perigee, when the moon is exactly opposite the sun? Would you agree with that?
Could. Yeah, I mean,
so
yeah,
you wouldn't even agree with the fucking base. I'm gonna rest my case right there. He doesn't even understand the basics, people.
Anyway, so
anyway, it happens at perigee when the moon is opposite the sun. Okay, we already know that. You don't, but we do. Okay, so it's hitting nodal points. Okay, and the elliptical orbits that go around concentrically, around and around in ellipses. They're 18-year cycles. Okay, called solar cycles, where they hit spots where the throw of the sun's light is not quite reaching the moon. So you start getting a shadow as it goes into that nodal point. Listen, let me finish at least. When the throw of the sun's light doesn't reach it, and the moon gets in that nodal point, and the sun's in its nodal point, it's like a type of polarity. You start to lose the light of the moon from the top down, and it comes around, it swings around, it leaves that nodal point, it gets its polarity back. Well, listen, you're going to tell me all this bullshit about refraction, and you're going to ask me, I'm going to use refraction. I'm going to use actual science, polarity. I'm going to use refraction, and y'all are just using horseshit. Even NASA calls it impossible eclipse, but you're going to try and explain it. It's a joke.
Light doesn't have polarity. It doesn't have a charge. Right.
Hold on. What I'm confused on is on the
he just said that you can only see the moon, the real location of the moon, at 90 degrees. So when you're on a certain longitude or latitude and you see the moon at 45 degrees, it's just apparent. The moon's not really there, but yet you use it in your math as if it's at 45 degrees. Do you do the same with the stars?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, he's right. Brian is right.
Yeah, because it's horseshit. It's all horseshit. We all know that.
That's also why they had to.
We like how you can dig so deep in your brain to justify the heliocentric model. But when trying to, why don't you try and give me an example of how an eclipse could work on a flat Earth? Let's hear some critical thinking. Just give me an idea, even. Let's see if you can think for yourself.
Hold on, I want to bring one thing back up. Brenda, did you say that light doesn't have polarity? You said that, right?
It doesn't have a charge.
Okay.
It has. It has.
What you said.
Yeah, it has polarity. It has polarity. I thought he meant charge.
What did you mean, Brian?
Polarity. We all know what it means. She doesn't. Okay, when you use solar filters, okay, it basically is a different charge. You could explain it as charge if you wanted to. Polarity means opposite charges. Opposite. But listen, just when you use, we're starting to see. Listen. If they would get their heads out of their asses, okay, they're starting to put certain solar filters over telescopes.
The light from the sun is not polarized. The light from the sun is not polarized.
Says you, okay? Says you.
You can measure it. It's not polarized.
Hey, but wait. It's charged, though, ain't it, Brenda? Is it not charged?
Light has no charge.
Does it not have a charge, Brenda?
Correct. Light has no charge.
Okay, in your model, it does. It is charged particles. Fucking idiot.
It is not. No, it is not. Light is not a charged particles.
Okay, so photons aren't particles, aren't charged particles.
Photons are particles, but they're neutral. They don't have a charge.
Okay, so explain the photovoltaics then, Brenda.
Photovoltaics? I don't know what that.
Yeah, a photon is massive.
Voltage from photons.
Voltage
from
photons?
What?
Are you talking about solar panels? They work through a completely different.
That's the main sort. Photosynthesis, solar panels, however you do it. Science has come a long way, people. You just ain't up to date with it. Sorry.
So right here, a photon is massless, has no electric charge, and is a stable particle. So let's take a look at how solar panels work. Because solar panels, if I actually remember correctly, occur through a chemical reaction.
Please don't, Chief. Please don't, Chief. Brian, you brought up a good point earlier. As a globe earther, I have no problem with flat Earth lunar eclipse or solar eclipses. I have no problem. If the moon is slightly lower in elevation than the sun, and then you have that lineup between your observer, then the moon, then the sun, I have no problem with that. My breakdown is a lunar eclipse.
Yes.
Brian doesn't think that lunar eclipses happen.
I can give you three ideas. Can you give me one, like how it might work on a flat Earth? Are you able to?
No. I'm being very honest. The solar eclipse, I have no problem with as far as an explanation and thinking about the interaction. The lunar eclipse, I literally have nothing for flat Earth, and that's my honest answer. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean, I just gave you an idea, right? Okay, on a flat Earth, you would agree that the throw of the sun's light is limited, right? Over a flat Earth, it would have to be, right?
Right, on a flat Earth, the sun would have to be smaller than the Earth.
The biggest problem.
The sun is obviously smaller than the fucking Earth, jackass.
No, that's not obvious.
On the flat Earth, it would have to be, right?
You didn't watch my video from earlier, man. It's common sense, okay? When the sun gets closer and overhead, shit gets hotter. Period.
That's not what happens.
Yeah, that's not what happens. Anyway.
I wish you were here at my house this morning at 10 a.m. when my son tried to hold his arm on a car because he couldn't do it for more than 1 second. The sun was only up at about 45, 50 degrees.
Way is when it's winter. It's winter when the sun is farther. When the sun is
winter, when the sun's up 45, 50 degrees, I lay on that car and it feels great because it's giving off a tiny bit of warmth. In the summertime, when the sun's at 45, 50 degrees, you can't get for more than a second.
The sun.
The biggest problem with
it's winter when it's closer.
Seriously, the biggest problem with the stellar eclipse is you see it during the daytime. That's the biggest problem.
It's just being lofted above the horizon.
It's not our problem. These people don't have common sense. They can't think for themselves. Anybody new out there listening? These people can't think for themselves. They don't understand that a sun that gets close heats shit up. Sorry.
It doesn't, though. That's the problem. When the sun is closer, it's winter.
Brian, if the sun was closer, it would get bigger, don't you think?
I'm talking about day by day. I'm talking about when it goes away and sets, it's going away from me. You know that's how it works on a flat Earth, so quit acting stupid.
Then why does it not change in size during the day?
Wait,
it does change in size, you jackass. Go just observe it. Observe it, you lying sack of shit. It splits off into three. It changes its size. It enlarges on the horizon. It does all kinds of shit.
It's not. It never changes.
It gives off. Listen, it fades out sometimes. Depending on the atmosphere, the sun's going to do all kinds of different shit. You denying that shows your fucking bullshit.
The sun never changes size.
Are you trying to get in the
day.
conversation? I thought I heard you say so. Somebody else said something.
I was trying to, but Brian doesn't. He never stops. So.
You guys are
We're
kind
not interested in what you have to say.
No offense, Brian and Brendan, but you guys are kind of like.
Sorry, Brendan, real quick. Brenda, so the sunset.
He singled me out, Brandon, and asked me a question. Sorry, man.
I know. I'm not mad at you, Brian. I'm just
the sunset that I see, Brenda. Is that the real sun, or where did the real one go? That kind of looked a lot smaller. It was going off in the distance, and then it just became this huge, red ball, right, at the sunset over water, usually. So when did it not become, the real sun?
The real sun is captured by the foxes at night.
Yes,
that was funny.
It's put into Apollo's chariot.
That was a good song.
It's put into Apollo's chariot.
Man, I'm looking at a cool ass double rainbow, man, as we speak. They say and if you're in an airplane, it looks like a circle up there in the clouds. But from where I stand, it looks like an arc on the ground. It's perspective. These people know it. Any new people out there, these people, they act like they don't understand it. They've been through these arguments before. They understand it. Our argument is on a flat Earth, the sun travels away as it sets. Once again, I can't get to the end.
What experimental evidence do you have for this model of the stellarium, where both of the sun and the moon are refracted? Those are apparent positions of those two objects. What experimental evidence do we have for that?
The science of optics.
Can you quote a paper or something? I want to look at it, man. This is really.
No, she could just say science.
Well, I mean, even if we wouldn't got a paper, you wouldn't believe it anyway, because it's all just a lie. Right?
It's not about a paper. Usually, when you have a claim, you can cite something like, if I asked you, why do you think mass attracts mass? Then you would point me towards Cavendish. Similar to that. So what is the experimental evidence that determined that either of them are just apparent positions?
These are based on experiments conducted in the 17th and 18th century with light.
Oh,
it's refraction. It's refraction. There were hundreds and
that's
hundreds.
That's your claim that they're both refracted objects, the sun and the moon.
Yeah,
in this case.
yeah.
Right. So what is your experimental evidence that that's the case. That's all I'm asking.
Experiments with light demonstrating the principle of refraction.
Yeah, Brandon,
Not a whole
I'll
lot
cut
of
to the
detail
chase.
there.
I don't think there's
Bio, you can go ahead because I'm at a loss at how to go any further.
I understand his question. I don't think that there's an experiment that follows the scientific method that you require. I don't think that one exists for that. I think what's happening is that we understand the positions in 3D space of these objects. We also understand how refraction works, and we understand the interaction of light within the atmosphere. Because we know all of those things, we can predict where in 3D space these objects are in space, and we can see the interaction with the atmosphere, such as refraction of these objects. And understanding all of these principles, putting them together, allows us to have a comprehensive explanation of what's going on using a globe model. I think that's essentially what's
deducted based on your model. That's a fair answer to say that they're
just
that's what it is.
Just
That's
real
fine.
quick. Okay, just real quick again. They're both Brender and Shitting Dog are both of them are saying that back in the 17th century they did experiments. Okay, show us these papers upon which these principles are based.
And to add to that, they used the whole principle of relativity.
Specifically,
using the Arthur Eddington. Hold on, they used the Arthur Eddington experiment. Hold on. They used the Arthur Eddington experiment with the star that's refracted from behind the sun. They used the Arthur Eddington experiment to prove a whole fucking brand of science, relativity, and now they're talking about the sun's refracted and all this shit. So it's a double standard, people.
The Eddington thing was not an experiment.
It was an experiment, but it wasn't
No,
due
it
to
wasn't.
refraction. It wasn't
Not a
due
natural,
to refraction.
not a natural science experiment.
Yeah, it is. It's natural science,
No.
and it's an experiment, but it has nothing to do with
It was
refraction.
not an experiment. It had nothing to do with natural
Well,
science.
you can just say "nah," but you're just
Well,
a science.
do you want to run through it, or
Gotta vary the independent. You got
Jeremy, see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, let's run through it, Brenda. Why don't you tell us about
crazy now?
the experiment?
Yeah, a selenium is a natural phenomenon. Natural, right? We see it. Millions of people can see this, right? That's a
My
natural
whole point is they want to bend starlight with gravity, but now they want to talk about refraction, like the sun ain't really there. So it's just a double standard, people. I think
No,
y'all
it's
see what I'm
not.
saying.
It's just different conditions: atmospheric conditions versus gravitational conditions.
That's my whole
Brenda,
point
what
about
is
the
this
sunset.
experiment that you and Jeremy were talking about? You said that
It's one of the proofs of special relativity.
Arthur Eddington, back in the back during relativity, when they were trying to prove it, they sent him to Africa to a point where he made it just in the nick of time, and he got it on one or two of his slides where the star that wasn't supposed to be there, was
Venus,
there
I think. Wasn't it
because the
Venus?
light was bending, gravity was bending the light from the star from around the sun.
Oh,
They forget about all the refraction bullshit
First
when
of
they
all,
talk
it was
about that.
First of all, it was general relativity. It wasn't special relativity. Brenda doesn't even know what the fuck she's talking about. Why
That's
is she
why I
even
was trying
here?
to get her to
These people are
describe it.
worthless.
Jeremy. That's why I was
It
trying
was
to
GR,
ask her to
you dumb
describe it.
bitch.
But go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry.
She doesn't even know what she's talking about. Why? Why bother? It's
She
not
just
natural
missed-
science. It
she
wasn't
just
special
misspoke
relativity.
briefly. She
I bet
knows
she
it's
did.
general relativity. She
Right.
knows it's general relativity. She just happened to misspeak a word. That's all.
Jeremy, could you explain
There's
it?
a lot of misspeaking about words today. Lunar.
Jeremy,
It just kills me how they get refraction when they need it, because it's got to be, because we know that the Earth is round and it's moving, so it's got to be refraction.
Well, science builds on previous knowledge.
I have a better explanation.
That is, in
Light-
fairness, that Brian, that is what Biodual said.
Light bends
was
around
what
light,
he said. It
apparently,
wasn't
right?
based on experiment. It was based on their knowledge of the model.
Light bends around light, apparently.
You're right.
Fair enough. I'm
That's
never
a
trying to argue the model. I'm trying to argue the reality of it, right?
Yeah, of course.
It is sort of my explanation of, we do have a model, but it's not a random model that's made up. The model is based on empirical evidence of reality. We just have a model, and we have an understanding.
Let's go back
of
to
these,
Travis. Where are
interactions
these
within
documents? I
reality.
can look them up. Come on.
I know. I'm trying to
You can Google.
I'm
You
trying
can
to find
Google.
scientific
Yeah.
explanations. I'm trying to find scientific explanations. If there's an experiment I'm unaware of it, but if I come across one, I'll be sure to tag you, Aaron. I'm sure you'll take
That'd be
it
great. That'd
very
be
honestly.
cool. Yeah,
You don't have to do the homework. You don't have to do the homework for the sea lion. The sea lion is there just to distract you.
There are lots
and lots of papers on
Rumpus is going to back
refraction.
that up. He's going to say light attracts light. Here we go.
I just caught them in a
Phase
lie.
one, just because the sun causes through general relativity the bending light, that's nothing to do with the light from the sun. It's to do with the mass of the sun. Just because it emits light does not mean to say that light is the mechanism for bending.
What's the mass of an explosion? Like, what is that, Rumpus?
The mass of an explosion.
Don't even bother responding
hell does
to
that
the.
mean?
He's a sea lion. His whole job is to simply throw wrenches.
You're just
into
trying to disrupt.
everything.
Yeah, you're just trying to disrupt the conversation,
That's his
are you?
whole point.
Isn't the sun continually exploding? A hydrogenating?
Well, it's losing mass, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it's continually losing mass, yes. But it's a tiny, tiny,
And it's
tiny,
so
tiny,
it has an
tiny,
output, right? It has
tiny
an output.
fraction
It has an
of
output,
the sun.
right?
It's a
Trumpet,
tiny
the
fraction of the sun
sun-
that it's losing every
Sun
second.
in your model has an output, correct? It has an output.
The sun, as I said, is losing mass all the time, but it's a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction
Does it
of the
have
total
an
mass of the sun.
output?
As light, yes.
Energy?
That was a different
Yeah.
number of tinies. We got him.
So the sun emits light. It
Maybe
loses
not.
mass. Yes. What about
Maybe
it?
not.
As energy.
Why is that a problem?
and- Sure. Okay. So another light, let's just say whatever this Eddington experiment is, right? That's very far
That's
away.
that's got nothing to do with the light of the sun. It's to do with the mass of the sun. Why do you think that
It
the
also
sun
has nothing to do with an experiment.
Why
It
do
has
you
nothing to
think
do
that's
with an
irrelevant?
experiment.
It's irrelevant, Jeremy. It's an observation. Who cares? It's an experiment. So just because the sun emits light, you seem to say its mass can't have an effect. That's like saying if I have a flashlight, it can't have mass because it's emitting light. The sun can do more than one thing. It can emit light and it can have mass. And its mass property is the causing of the bending in the Eddington experiment.
What caused
Just because it also emits light does not stop. If it emitted no light at all, it would still bend in the bend the light from the star in the Eddington experiment. Even if it emitted no light, it would still have bent the light
I
from
wonder
the
what his
star
neighbors think.
in
How
the
big is the
Eddington
sun's core,
experiment.
Rumpus?
Jesus
How big is the
Christ.
sun's core? How
Why
big is
don't
the
you
sun's
like
core?
being given an explanation? Is that because you're
How
frightened
big
of
is
it?
the sun's
You're
core? How
frightened
big
of the
is the
explanation. It's got nothing to do with the light from the sun in the Eddington experiment observation as to why the star light bent. Jesus Christ!
How can it bend the light if it doesn't send the light? It doesn't
call
make
it an
sense. How can
experiment.
it do that? It
Quit
doesn't
calling
make
it
sense.
an experiment. It's an observation.
Observations are part of the scientific method.
Absolutely. We observe the mass of things. We observe the size of the electron.
I'm talking to Rumpus. Rumpus, quit calling it an experiment, Rumpus. I mean it.
He just said you observe the mass of things. I thought we weigh the
observations.
Mass of things.
Observations are part
You
of
can
the.
observe the mass of things.
We
are
weigh the
part-
mass. We regard that as an observation. Observations are more than just looking at things. Observations are you just obtaining a measurement. Stop interrupting me! An observation is just simply to do. Be quiet. Be quiet. Take turns, you moron. Take turns, you moron. Take turns. Try taking turns. I'm trying to finish a sentence. A short sentence, and then you can get it in a second. But let me just finish this sentence. When we do an observation,
Nobody wants
that
to hear your
doesn't
fucking
just
mouth,
mean
dude.
a visual observation. We can observe the mass of something. Jesus Christ,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Do a non-visual observation.
Yeah, you may have
Weighing something
observations,
is a
but-
non-visual observation.
See, you may have observations, but you cannot claim.
How did you
to
see what the
something
weight said?
You may have observations, but you cannot claim to be something to be scientific based on just observations.
Yes, of course
Okay?
I can.
Yes, you can.
I can
What?
observe
No,
the mass.
no, you cannot.
You utter moron. Science is about the study of the physical and natural world, and that includes weighing things, getting the size of things, seeing how fast things are. Those are all parts of science.
Why'd you just
They're
say half a definition?
observations. I mean, how can you be this
measure
stupid?
something without
How can you
physically
be this
measuring?
stupid? You're trying to be stupid, I think, here.
Then
The
I'm a
size,
scientist.
the size
need.
of the Earth is a scientific issue. The size of the Earth and the...
All right. Rumpus, fuck's sake, man.
Mass. This is how stupid you are.
It's like what he's saying is like a radio tower standing tall up in the sky.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
I don't know. Let's say 12 miles away, you're just seeing the lights. You know, so the planes don't hit it. You're just seeing the lights of it.
That's not what he was talking about at all.
He knows what he's doing. He gave half the definition for science. He left off the experiment, which is fundamental.
Observation and hypothesis testing.
He didn't even get that far, Brenda.
That's what the Eddington experiment is
Hypothesis testing. Experiment, Brenda.
It's hypothesis testing.
No, I just lost my train of thought. I wasn't going there.
You've never had a train of thought.
Well, I think everybody's done it. So even you.
Brenda, can you describe to us what the experiment is? The Eddington experiment.
The prediction of relativity is that the gravitational mass force of the sun will bend the apparent position of stars that are behind the sun and change their apparent position in the sky.
What's the hypothesis?
It doesn't actually line up with the prediction, though, does it, Brenda?
So when the Earth's on the other
side, though, does it? Because in
when the Earth's on the other side of the sun,
you mind if I? You mind
everybody talking over everybody? I can't hear a thing.
You mind if I step in? So yeah, Brenda, it doesn't really match the prediction, though, does it? Because in the editing experiment, the prediction was that the light should bend a couple solar radii out away from the star. From the sun, and it doesn't. It only bends in the solar limb. In the plasma, it bends only in the plasma limb of the sun, only in the densest part of the
Yeah, no, the observations matched theoretical predictions.
Now they need citations.
Yeah.
Now they need citations.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
you can just
happening there? What's actually happening there,
We've been
guys?
asking for citations this
is a
entire
refraction
show about
event.
everything. We've been asking about the
So you're about
you're
about not providing citations then. Thank you.
Neither do you, so shut the hell up.
Okay, well, I was asking for it, so obviously I'm for it.
I'm not going to jump right now. I'm still finishing my sentence.
Provided?
I'm not going to stop myself in the middle of a sentence
when I ask
run off
for
and look for
citations.
something.
Why?
You know, Grim doesn't talk that much. Let's hear him out.
Yeah, it's not like I'm blowing smoke, here. So you can easily go look it up. I just don't have the fucking time or patience to deal with people like that right now. But I just want to say it for the record that they're not right with the Eddington experiment being some absolute proof of relativity, or at least not proof of gravity.
Not an experiment. It's not
right. Exactly. Either way, it doesn't matter because it's absolutely explainable through plasmas. Light bend through plasmas in the same way.
Yeah, that's not how anything works. It's just not how it works. So you don't know anything
we can
about
repeat it in the laboratory and you can't.
No, you can't.
How about that?
And
yeah,
besides,
bullshit. Light bending.
I posted a link.
Absolutely. Plasma bends light in the laboratory. Absolutely.
So I posted a link to a modern reconstruction of the Eddington experiment that's a little bit more accurate.
What was the independent variable in Eddington?
Yeah, they don't pull it out of the, it's too close. It's in the plasma limb is when you start seeing the bending only, and the actual
pseudoscience is in the medical field because of people like
actual theory predicts that you would see it a couple of solar radii away from the.
So your universe is called pseudoscience. That's what you do, Graham.
So anyway,
wow, you got some sort of a personal involvement in all of this.
Grim, can I clarify something with you? So I think you made the point that what they predicted is not what they observed.
That's
is
right.
That correct?
Yes.
Because that was what has been told to us over and over is they predicted something, it occurred, therefore it validated their model. So it sounds like there's part of the story that's missing there.
Right. It's just like when they found the boson, Higgs boson particle, right? It wasn't in the right frequency. It's not really what they were looking for.
Well, even when part of the story
It's
is
the same
there,
shit.
When did you
you
get your
still don't have to
degree?
worry. It's just a story.
That's
When
why they
did you
call it
get
the
your
boson
degree?
particle.
When did you get your degree in physics, Grim?
Don't need
Now
one.
they're gonna ask you for your degree.
I don't need one to have someone with a degree in physics be honest and tell me that.
Then you're just
You think just
appealing
because you
to
have a
authority.
degree,
All right, Brenda.
if you
Brenda,
had
give us
had
your
a
degree.
degree in
How do I
physics, then
get
I'd
a
be right
degree
about
in
everything I
quantum
talked about.
particle physics? Like, how
I
do I
would
get a
actually
degree
love
in
to
that?
see some citations for this.
What are the
By the way, there is nothing wrong
qualifications
about
for that
asking
one?
for
You
citations
have to
because that's
believe in
just
something you
saying,
can't see.
oh, there's
That-
something here that I haven't learned before. So how about I
First of
check
all,
out
give
where
us your
this guy
degree,
gets his
buddy.
information from? You
Cool.
know?
Hey, Mosquito, give us your degree so that we understand that you will understand. Give us
I
your
have a
degree on
degree in
physics.
yeah. What's your degree? So I have a degree in theology. What's
No,
your degree?
give me your degree first.
Oh, hold on,
I
guys.
gave,
Let me
I
ask
gave you my
Brenda.
degree.
Let me
AP,
ask Brenda
I
a
have a BA in
question.
theology. What's your degree, Silent?
No swinging balls.
Well, it's not physics, right?
You promised to give me a degree. Give
We're
me a
not going to
degree,
rub
Silent.
balls together.
I don't have one.
Okay, there you go. You don't
You
have
have
a
me?
degree. Then sit the fuck down and shut up.
Well, you don't have
Yeah,
a degree in physics.
Who
It's
cares about a
irrelevant, Silent.
degree,
Shut
guys?
up.
Wait, degrees mean something now? I thought Dr. John D
No.
didn't
Yeah, they
matter
don't.
that he had a
How many flirts
PhD.
does it take to
Degree.
create a circle?
Huh. Look how that
Degree
changed
is a
real
record.
No amount
quick.
will
You
do because no flirt has a
Look how
degree.
quick that changed.
That
Dr.
was
John
Brenda
D, you guys
losing the
spent hours
argument.
shitting.
Hold on,
That was
let me ask
Brenda
Brenda a
losing
question.
her
Really quick,
argument
guys.
with Grim by asking
I wasn't
her
even
by
participating.
asking him for his degree. That was you losing.
No, that's not me losing.
You're
Right?
drowning.
No,
Brenda.
you're just talked over constantly.
I don't
so
know.
that's not losing. Was when you're talked over.
Can you hear me,
that's
Brenda?
Losing.
You should
Can
have
you
said
hear me, Brenda?
astrophysics instead of physics.
Yeah, I didn't talk before.
Brenda, do you have me on mute? Can you hear me?
I don't have anybody on mute.
Okay, I'm just asking if you could hear me. I'm sorry. I just want to know. It's a little off topic, but I'm only asking a question to see where you stand on science. If we find bacteria or cells on Mars, is there life on Mars?
They would be life, so it would increase the likelihood that if
you see bacteria or cell,
question and then interrupt me, I'm going to stop.
Well, you answered it. You answered it immediately.
I was not done talking.
You
Learn
said
some
life.
fucking manners.
Okay,
when
go
you
ahead,
ask me a question, allow me to complete the answer. So if you can
Okay.
show that they are indigenous to Mars, then yes, maybe they're carried there by one of the probes. That's a possibility. But the likelihood, if the evidence is good, then yes, there's life on Mars. If we find microbes native to Mars on Mars, then there's life there. Yes.
Okay, and you said that immediately. I apologize. I didn't. So
I
if
get
you find
tired.
cells,
I get tired.
Okay, Brenda, I'm sorry. I apologize. So if you find cells, or I don't want to say bacteria, we'll just say cells within the womb, is that life?
What?
If you find cells within the womb, is that life?
What are you talking about?
He's trying to bring up abortion and morals and shit for no.
No, it's just to see where she stands on science. Like, is cells only life on Mars, but not in the womb?
The egg and the sperm and the mom that they're in, they're all alive.
I think that's a good point to shut it down for the night and call it a day. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Got a little crazy on there. I don't think you could get that kind of conversation even by plopping down a huge plate full of cocaine in the middle of a bar. That was pretty crazy there at times, but it's all good. Aaron Moorfeld, shout out, man. Appreciate it, man. I really do. Thanks for supporting the show. Thank you all for listening. Thank you to Kango24. And there was one other person at the beginning of the show. I don't know why YouTube decides to not show me all the super chats at some point in time. But shout out whoever it was. I appreciate it. I really do, even though I can't remember. But we'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow night. And if not Friday for sure, look for the notification. And have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching.